Zhao Jiang stood before a mirror as a voice echoed incessantly in his mind. See his face clearly, see his face clearly, see. Driven by this invisible force, Zhao Jiang struggled to lift his head, eyes wide open, desperately trying to discern the face within the mirror. Yet for some unknown reason the face in the mirror remained stubbornly blurred. See his face clearly, see his face clearly, see. The relentless urging drove Zhao Jiang to take a step forward until his forehead pressed directly against the cold surface of the mirror. In the next instant, that constantly shifting blur began to sharpen, gradually resolving until it revealed a face identical to his own. Staring at his own likeness in the mirror, Zhao Jiang, as if guided by some inexplicable impulse, reached out to touch it. At that moment, an identical hand emerged from within the mirror, reaching out toward him. Got you. In the year 2025, on November 14th, in Huijing City, Jiangning District, Asaboan Building 201 Unit 2205, a young man suddenly jolted awake from his dream. A little past 11 at night at the Yasage Tong Psychological Clinic. Sit. Thank you. Dr. Zhou said if I remember correctly you came here at almost the same time last night as well. Zhao Jiang replied yes. Dr. Zhou said you look a bit pale today. Are you feeling ill? Zhao Jiang answered no, it's probably just because I haven't been resting well. Dr. Zhou asked still because of that dream. Zhao Jiang nodded. Dr. Zhou said tell me about it. What happened? Zhao Jiang said after I went home I did exactly as you instructed. Just as I was drifting off I kept suggesting to myself that I must see his face clearly. After I fell asleep I indeed entered that same dream again and saw that mirror once more. Dr. Zhou suddenly interrupted him. Wait. From the first time you came and mentioned that dream to me until today, how many times have you entered that same dream in total? After thinking for a moment, Zhao Jiang answered 8 times. Dr. Zhou said think carefully. Are you sure you haven't missed any? Zhao Jiang said no. On the first day I came to your clinic I had already repeated that same dream 7 times. I remember that very clearly. Dr. Zhou lowered her head and wrote 7 and 8 on the paper, then murmured to herself, same dream, same mirror. She looked up and said all right. Continue. Zhao Jiang said the method you taught me really worked. When I stood in front of the mirror there was always a voice repeating in my mind, urging me to see his face clearly. Dr. Zhou interrupted again. Hold on. Was it an actual distinct voice sounding in your mind, or more like the vague sense that there was a voice? After thinking, Zhao Jiang corrected himself. It felt as if there was a voice. Dr. Zhou immediately lowered her head and wrote suggestion successful. She said go on. Zhao Jiang said, urged on by that voice, I kept trying to focus, wanting to see the face inside the mirror clearly. But no matter how hard I concentrated it remained nothing but a blur. I simply couldn't make it out. Dr. Zhou asked at that moment, did you realize that the blurred figure in the mirror was actually yourself? Zhao Jiang replied yes. Dr. Zhou said and then, Zhao Jiang answered then, as if driven by some strange impulse, I pressed my forehead against the mirror, wanting to see whether that would allow me to see more clearly. Dr. Zhou asked wait. That act of pressing your head against the mirror, was it a sudden idea, or was there a voice suggesting it to you? Zhao Jiang replied it should have been a sudden idea. Dr. Zhou said think back. After your forehead touched the mirror, did you feel anything unusual? For example, was the mirror icy cold, or did you feel any sense of physical contact? Zhao Jiang answered no. Dr. Zhou said so you knew you were making contact, but you felt nothing at all. Zhao Jiang replied that's right. Dr. Zhou said all right. Continue. What happened after you touched the mirror? Zhao Jiang said when I first pressed my head against it, it was still just a blur, indistinct and unclear. But very soon it began to change, becoming more and more defined, until it finally turned into a face that looked exactly like mine. He continued, I couldn't help reaching out to touch it, wanting to see whether it felt as real as a living person. But the moment I did, a hand emerged from within the mirror, grabbed me in an instant, and there was a voice saying, got you. Dr. Zhou asked, was the act of reaching out your hand also a sudden impulse? Zhao Jiang replied yes. Dr. Zhou asked, when the hand from the mirror grabbed you, did you feel anything abnormal, such as warmth, elasticity, or force? Zhao Jiang swallowed and said yes. He continued, it felt as if I were caught in an iron clamp, the grip incredibly strong and incredibly tight, and it was like being seized. Dr. Zhou prompted, seized like a lifeline. Yes, exactly. That feeling as though I had been grabbed like a lifeline. Dr. Zhou asked that voice, was it a distinct voice, or like before merely the vague sense of a voice? Zhao Jiang replied it was distinct. Dr. Zhou asked, you're certain it was distinct? Zhao Jiang nodded. Yes, it was a concrete voice. I can still remember it very clearly even now. Dr. Zhou said, describe that voice for me. Tell me in as much detail as you can. Zhao Jiang answered it was my own voice, but slightly different. That voice sounded so very tired, as if exhausted to the very limits of endurance. He added, in all the years I've been alive, I've never experienced that level of exhaustion in reality. Dr. Zhou asked, was there anything after that? Zhao Jiang replied no. I was so terrified that I woke up immediately. Dr. Zhou said yesterday you mentioned that every time you wake your mind seems to gain something new. Did that happen this time as well? Zhao Jiang said yes. Dr. Zhou picked up her pen. Tell me specifically. Zhao Jiang answered, after I woke up today my mind contained new knowledge about biological tissue repair technology. Dr. Zhou quickly wrote this down, then asked, before this had you ever been exposed to related information or news through any channel? Even a quick glance counts, and hearing others mention it counts as well. Zhao Jiang replied to him. If we separate the terms I must have heard them more or less. Words like biology, tissue repair, and technology are all common. Dr. Zhou said then that makes sense. Your subconscious will gather these scattered things and combine them in a way you cannot perceive, finally presenting and feeding them back to you through dreams. She added, by the way, do you still remember the things that appeared in your mind after the previous dreams? Zhao Jiang replied, I remember. Dr. Zhou picked up her pen again. Tell me. Zhao Jiang said the first time it was gene editing, the second time cell therapy, the third artificial organs, the fourth cultured meat, the fifth biomolecular nanorobots, the sixth strong artificial intelligence, and the seventh enhancement of life. Dr. Zhou suddenly paused mid-writing and looked up at Zhao Jiang. You can remember all of that so clearly. Scratching his head, Zhao Jiang said, I don't know why. Once these things appear, it's as if they grow into my brain, becoming increasingly vivid and complete. I simply can't forget them. Dr. Zhou said, wait. Did you just say they keep becoming increasingly vivid and complete? Zhao Jiang replied, Dr. Zhou asked, is that happening on its own, or are you consciously adding to them? Zhao Jiang answered, it happens on its own. I haven't done anything. Dr. Zhou said, so you mean that the things which suddenly appear in your mind continue to perfect themselves as time passes? Zhao Jiang opened his mouth as if to speak, then swallowed the words back down and remained silent. Glancing at her notes, Dr. Zhou continued, for example, with the first topic, gene editing. Was it that at the beginning you had only part of the relevant knowledge, and later that knowledge kept increasing on its own, becoming more complete and clearer? After carefully thinking for quite a while, Zhao Jiang met Dr. Zhou's gaze and nodded. Dr. Zhou asked, from the first time until now, have you tried to verify any of these newly emerged things? She went on, for instance, whether such knowledge truly exists in reality and whether it is actually feasible. Zhao Jiang shook his head. I deliver food during the day and I get off work late at night and am exhausted. On top of that, this whole thing feels rather absurd, so I haven't done anything about it. Hearing this, Dr. Zhou put down her paper and pen, took out her phone, and said to him, come recall a specific point of knowledge related to gene editing and tell it to me. Pressing his lips together, Zhao Jiang began to recite the knowledge in his mind. Gene editing refers to the process of modifying specific targets within an organism's genome through gene editing technologies, efficiently and precisely achieving gene insertion, deletion, or replacement, thereby altering its hereditary information and phenotypic traits. Traditional gene editing techniques focus on introducing exogenous target genes into recipient cells and through homologous sequence recombination, allowing exogenous DNA fragments to replace genes at the original loci, thus achieving the inactivation of specific genes or the repair of defective genes. Several minutes later, he was still reciting. Stop. Dr. Zhou said, can you repeat what you just said, but in reverse order? Zhao Jiang replied, I can. Dr. Zhou said, good. Now repeat it backward. Zhao Jiang began. The purpose of rendering specific genes inactive or repairing defective genes is thus achieved, and from there, DNA fragments of exogenous origin replace genes at the original loci through homologous recombination in recipient cells, gene editing. A few minutes later, Dr. Zhou put down her phone, then suddenly crooked a finger, signaling him to come closer. Come here. Look into my eyes and answer a few questions. Zhao Jiang leaned forward, slightly looking into Dr. Zhou's eyes. Dr. Zhou asked, from the first time we met until now, have you ever lied to me? Feeling that they were too close, that he could even sense her breath as she spoke, Zhao Jiang grew uneasy. He instinctively leaned back and turned his head slightly, avoiding her gaze. No. Dr. Zhou suddenly reached out with both hands and firmly held Zhao Jiang's head, forcing him to face her. Don't be shy. I'm a doctor. Look into my eyes when you speak. Helpless Zhao Jiang had no choice but to look into her eyes and repeat no. Dr. Zhou's gaze sharpened abruptly like a blade, piercing straight into the soul. Say it again. Zhao Jiang said no. Dr. Zhou asked, the things that have appeared in your mind. Had you ever systematically studied them before, even just a little bit of the basics? Zhao Jiang replied no. Dr. Zhou asked, has your memory always been this good, or is it only with these newly emerged things that you can remember like this? Zhao Jiang answered, only those newly emerged things are like this. After more than 10 seconds of silence, Dr. Zhou released him and picked up her paper and pen again. Your situation is rather unusual. It's the first time I've ever encountered something like this. I'll need some time to study it. She continued, leave me your phone number so I can contact you. If you go home today and continue to have the same dream, remember to send me a message promptly. Zhao Jiang said, all right. Thank you, Dr. Zhou. She added, wait a moment, I'll prescribe you some medication to calm your mind, help you sleep, and relax your nerves. Take it home, and remember to take it before bed. Zhao Jiang asked, how much will it cost? Dr. Zhou replied, for now, we don't know whether the medication will be effective for you, so I won't charge you yet. Zhao Jiang said, is that really okay? Dr. Zhou said, it's fine. Our clinic operates on a semi-charitable basis. According to our regulations, we only charge for medications after they have proven effective for the patient. Zhao Jiang responded, I see. As soon as Zhao Jiang left Dr. Zhou picked up her phone and made a call. Gedong, are you off work yet? A lazy voice came from the other end of the line. Off work? I'm about to wake up from my second nap. What's wrong? Do you miss me? Dr. Zhou said, I remember you have a senior brother from Stanford who specializes in dream studies, right? Her friend replied, yes. Before I returned to China, I even asked him to interpret a dream for me. Dr. Zhou said, send me his WeChat contact. There's something I'd like to consult him about. Okay. A WeChat friend request was sent, then accepted. Senior brother Zheng, hello. My name is Zhou Yasi, I'm Wu Getong's close friend. I know? Junior sister Wu just called to briefly explain your situation. Dr. Zhou wrote, senior brother Zheng, I heard that you specialize in dream studies and have published quite a few related papers. Your accomplishments in dream research must be considerable, right? He replied, they're all right. Dr. Zhou asked, have you ever encountered a situation where someone has the same dream for 8 consecutive days? He responded, the same dream. Do you mean roughly similar or exactly identical? Dr. Zhou wrote, the dream itself is exactly identical, but the dreamer's actions are different each time. The replies on the other side suddenly stopped. Half a minute later, a call suddenly came in from the other side. Junior sister Zhou, are you certain that across 8 consecutive dreams the dream itself was completely identical each time? Zhou Yasi replied, I'm certain. On the other end, he asked this person having the dreams, it isn't you, is it? Zhou Yasi said, no. Why would you ask that, senior brother Zheng? The voice on the other end seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Good, it's not you. Junior sister Zhou, let me tell you. This kind of dream is extremely special. If you know who is having this kind of dream, you must at the very first opportunity warn that person to avoid touching any objects within the dream as much as possible. Remember this, don't forget. Zhou Yasi noticed the unusual tone in the other person's voice, her delicate brows slightly furrowed. The voice on the phone said, this kind of dream is a type of recurring dream, but it's exceptionally rare. In our field of dream studies, it has another little-known name, parallel dream. As the name suggests, it is a dream that may connect to a parallel world. According to relevant records, this type of dream can be traced back over 5,000 years. It has several distinct features such as the appearance of mirrors, black water smoke pillars, and luminous delicacies. It is said that some people, after touching these things in their dreams, were secretly replaced by their parallel world counterparts. Even if not replaced, they would encounter all sorts of unpleasant events in reality, ultimately leading to mental confusion and abnormal behavior. Furthermore, their probability of developing various delusions increases dramatically. For instance, most patients suffering from the famous forest delusion had experiences of parallel dreams. Zhou Yasi asked, do parallel worlds really exist? The voice on the phone paused before replying, personally, I am willing to believe in their existence, otherwise many things would be inexplicable. Zhou Yasi said, senior brother Zheng, I have a request. The voice replied, tell me. Zhou Yasi, I want to research parallel dreams. Could you send me the relevant materials? Nothing highly classified, just ordinary ones will do. Sure. The voice paused for a moment. However, I have one condition. Zhou Yasi, please go ahead, senior brother Zheng. The voice, I have to return to China next week for business. I hope you can arrange a meeting between me and the person who had the parallel dream. Zhou Yasi replied, I need to seek their consent first. If they agree, I have no objections. The voice replied, all right, that's proper. Junior sister, I'll attach my relevant information shortly, so you can introduce me more objectively. By the way, junior sister, when you convey our meeting request, please bring a gift on my behalf. Emphasize that I wish to visit them, put me in the request position, and place them in the primary position to leave a good impression. Zhou Yasi, no problem. The voice, then I'll trouble you, junior sister Zhou. Late at night, building 201, apartment 2205, Ayasaboan. After taking a shower and his medication a weary, Zhao Jiang lay on the bed, closing his eyes quietly, waiting for drowsiness. When his eyelids grew heavy and his thoughts blurred, he repeated in his mind, see his face, see his face. As his body relaxed and his breathing steadied, Zhao Jiang severed his connection to the real world. This is a dream. I'm dreaming. Zhao Jiang entered the dream again, but unlike before this time, he was lucid from the moment he entered. I am Zhao Jiang. I'm sleeping in bed, and right now I'm dreaming. I just fell asleep. In reality, it should be around 1 a.m. November 15th, Saturday. During the day, I delivered takeout 107 orders in total, the last one from a foreigner. After work, I went to the Yasij Tong Psychological Clinic. Dr. Zhou even prescribed me medicine without charging. On the way back, a yellow dog barked at me 3 times. When I took the elevator, there was a lost cat. Notice a ragdoll cat belonging to the 11th floor. I stepped into the door with my right foot first. Before getting into bed, I wiped my feet on the bedsheet. I can stay lucid in a dream. I stepped in with my right foot first. Before slipping into the covers, I wiped my feet on the sheet. Can I really remain conscious in a dream? Astounded, Zhao Jiang first asked himself 3 questions: who am I, where am I, what am I doing? Then with his lucid mind, he began to inventory what had happened in reality. After cross-verifying, he discovered an astonishing yet undeniable fact: he could maintain his real-world lucidity within the dream. Strange. Before, whenever I felt a hint of waking, the dream would shatter and vanish. This time I know I'm fully lucid, yet the dream still remains. Zhao Jiang looked around and found no sign of the dream collapsing despite his lucidity. He touched his face, pinched it hard, and found it felt no different from reality. Smooth to the touch, yet painful. If he focused even more, he could sense the angle and force of the pinch and the deformation of his face. If he didn't know he was dreaming, he would have doubted the reality of this world. He looked down at the ground littered with broken walls, over which floated a layer of pitch black smoke 20 to 30 centimeters high, lapping over his bare feet. The black smoke flowed, tumbled, and spread endlessly to the horizon. He clearly remembered that in previous dreams upon waking, he couldn't recall the ground's specific appearance, but now he could perceive everything with clarity. He bent down and scooped up a handful of black mist, but they all slipped through his fingers. Oh right, the mirror. Straightening up, Zhao Jiang suddenly thought of something and turned to look at a mirror. The next moment, he saw a reflection of himself in the mirror, turning to look back, their movements perfectly synchronized. Why isn't it blurry this time? Should I go over? Zhao Jiang murmured to himself, full of confusion. Having fully turned around, he stared unblinkingly at the reflection from a distance, hoping to spot something unusual. As a lucid dreamer with full real-world awareness, he vividly remembered that in last night's dream a hand had reached out from the mirror, grabbed him tightly, and terrified him. Now that he was fully awake, if he touched the mirror and that happened again, could his heart take it? Thinking this, Zhao Jiang hesitated. Logically, it was only a dream. No matter what happened, it wouldn't affect his real self. Yet that scene last night was truly horrifying, and he still felt a lingering fear. Curiosity stirred, but courage faltered. After pondering, Zhao Jiang bent down, picked up a stone-like object, aimed at his reflection in the mirror, and threw it with force. The man in the mirror mirrored his action exactly, throwing the same object back at him. The next moment, Zhao Jiang's stone hit the mirror with a bang and bounced back, rolling twice on the ground. Meanwhile, the stone from the mirror, like a ghost, passed straight through the mirror and in a flash struck Zhao Jiang precisely, without making a sound. "Ah!" Zhao Jiang screamed in agony, holding his head as a piercing pain shot through his forehead. After the pain subsided, he stepped back 2 paces and questioned his reflection. "Who are you?" The reflection in the mirror. "Who are you?" "Zhao Jiang, stop pretending. Even though you look exactly like me and sound the same, that hit just now was different. Look, you don't even have a bump on your head." The reflection in the mirror laughed unkindly. "Sorry, this was actually a misunderstanding. I was just trying to mimic you. I didn't expect this to happen. I apologize." Zhao Jiang stared at it silently, his face full of disbelief. The reflection suddenly glanced back over its shoulder at something, then began to step forward. Zhao Jiang looked down at his own legs and saw they hadn't moved, confirming more than ever that the person in the mirror was a completely independent entity. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 8 steps. Zhao Jiang silently counted the other steps. When it reached the 8th step, he saw 1 foot of the reflection emerge from the mirror, entering the same space as him. "You can..." Zhao Jiang stared in disbelief, his whole body, tense scalp tingling, instinctively assuming a defensive posture. End of segment. At the same time, the entire dream suddenly shook violently, as if something terrifying had been triggered. The next moment, heaven and earth split apart, the universe turned upside down, and then back again, everything shifting and resetting. A world similar to the dream, yet more real and oppressive, emerged, slowly revealing its true form behind a gray, transparent barrier. "This..." Zhao Jiang's eyes widened in disbelief as he stared at the scene, his heart filled with unspeakable. The other person glanced at Zhao Jiang, who looked as if he were facing a formidable enemy, and gave a friendly smile, without saying a word. He then twisted his hips with effort, as if trying to muster the strength to bring his other foot over as well. Once, twice. 10 times. Under Zhao Jiang's wary gaze, the other's foot, still trapped in the mirror, seemed stuck, as if sucked into a swamp, impossible to pull out. 11, 12, 20 times. "Could you give me a hand?" After 20 failed attempts, the other showed a helpless expression and asked Zhao Jiang for help. "Who are you? Why do you appear in my dream looking exactly like me, and even impersonating me?" Zhao Jiang seized the opportunity to ask. "How about you help me pull my other foot out first, and then he'll slowly tell you the answer. You tell me the answer first, and then he'll consider helping you." After saying that, their eyes met, scrutinizing each other. After a moment, "I'm not impersonating you. The reason I look exactly like you, even have the same voice, is because I am another you from a parallel world. As for why I appear in your dream, it might not be clear in just a few words. If a few words aren't enough, then use 3. If 3 isn't enough, then 30. I have enough patience and time. Zhao Jiang looked at the face that was exactly like his own, clenched his fists, and felt deeply conflicted. Logically, this was a dream. No matter what happened, it would vanish the moment he woke up. But the situation was too bizarre. With his clear consciousness, he couldn't help but doubt if he pulled the other out of the mirror and something bad happened, would the person who woke up in reality still be himself? One should not have the heart to harm others, but must have the heart to guard against them. When facing uncertain matters, it's always right to be cautious. The other seemed to see Zhao Jiang's resolve, gave him a deep look, and spoke again. Do you know about parallel dreams? Zhao Jiang, no. A person will have many dreams in their life, and different dreams intersect different things. Some dreams intersect energy bodies, some intersect different dimensions, some intersect time, some intersect space, some intersect tangible objects, some intersect information, some intersect the starry sky. Among the many dreams, there is one that can intersect parallel worlds. This kind of dream, we call it a parallel dream, and what you are having right now is a parallel dream. Zhao Jiang fell silent at this pondering. After a long while, he continued to ask, why am I having a parallel dream? The other's brows suddenly showed traces of pain. He gently shook his head. Sorry, I don't know the answer to that either. Zhao Jiang noticed something wrong. What's wrong with you? Something is gnawing at my leg. As soon as the words were spoken, Zhao Jiang noticed that a piece of the sky on the other side of the gray barrier suddenly disappeared, along with the black smoke and clouds vanishing without a trace, revealing an indescribable blackness. That blackness was incompatible with the tone of the entire world, as if that world had forever lost. In the moment Zhao Jiang was stunned, a broken building in that world, along with the ruins on the ground, debris, and the surrounding space, abruptly disappeared again, as if bitten off by something, revealing a horrifying blackness. Zhao Jiang swallowed hard. Looking at the other, whose face was full of pain and sweat pouring like rain, but who no longer asked for help, he asked nervously, why aren't you asking for help anymore? The other gritted his teeth, forced a smile, enduring great pain, and said in a trembling voice, I told you I am another you from a parallel world. At these words, Zhao Jiang felt as if struck by lightning, and some doubts in his heart vanished instantly. His gaze sharpened, and without hesitation he rushed to the mirror, grabbed the other's body, and pulled hard with all. Sensing something on the other side of the mirror dragging the other's body, Zhao Jiang clenched his teeth, veins bulging, and pulled frantically with all his strength. Yeah. With a low shout, Zhao Jiang pulled the other's body out like uprooting a tree, but due to inertia he fell backward. Just as the other's toes were about to leave the mirror's surface, a sudden change occurred. The mirror's surface, like living mercury, came to life and covered his entire body in the blink of an eye, forming a new mirror floating in the air. All this happened too quickly to react. Off balance, Zhao Jiang looked at himself in the mirror, completely bewildered. Thank you, number 8. The Zhao Jiang in the mirror was pale and weary, but a hint of relief after surviving a disaster appeared at the corner of his mouth. PFT. Zhao Jiang fell to the ground, his head pierced by a discarded steel bar over 20 centimeters long, his hand still maintaining the posture of grabbing the other. What on earth is this? Why did you call me 8? Before he could finish, a sudden darkness came and completely covered the dream. The next moment, Zhao Jiang struggled to open his eyes and found that the sky outside the window had already turned bright. He stared blankly for a while, replaying the events in his dream. Only when his phone alarm went off did he recompose himself and welcome a new day. Delivering takeout is a monotonous job, going online, picking up orders, collecting food, delivering it, repeating over and over in a cycle. As a member of the delivery army, Zhao Jiang had spent several years in this monotony. For him, this dullness had, in this habit, he gradually came to like the life of braving wind and rain, occasionally being harassed, occasionally helping others. Not particularly exciting, but peaceful enough. As an ordinary and common worker in a society where class is increasingly rigid, he had no great ambitions. He only wanted to rely on his own efforts to carve out a small place to survive in this Huijing city. However, recent events gave him a strong premonition that his delivery career might be coming to an end. At around 11 o'clock at night, while delivering his last order, Zhao Jiang suddenly received a phone call. Hello, may I ask who you're looking for? The voice on the phone, MDR. Zhou from Yashtong Psychological Clinic. Mr. Zhao, have you finished work? Zhao Jiang quickly stopped his bike. Not yet, I'm delivering the last order. The voice paused. Sorry to interrupt your work. Go ahead and finish the delivery, then give me a call back, okay? Zhao Jiang thoughtfully, Dr. Zhou, do you have something urgent to discuss? On the other end of the phone, there's no urgent matter, but regarding your dream, I've made some new discoveries and would like to confirm a few details with you. Are you available? Zhao Jiang, I'm almost at my destination. Can you wait 10 minutes? I'll come to your clinic after that. The voice on the phone replied, sure. A little over 10 minutes later, outside the Yasi Gutong Psychological Clinic. Zhao Jiang parked his scooter and glanced at the sign hanging beside the main entrance, which read Free Dream Interpretation Psychological Counseling, Emotional Consultation. Are you here? Dr. Zhou suddenly appeared at the door wearing a smile. Dr. Zhou, I'm sorry I got caught at a few red lights and arrived a few minutes late. No problem, come in. A moment later. Sit. Thank you. Dr. Zhou, do you usually finish work around this time, every day? Zhao Jiang, pretty much. Dr. Zhou, do you get any time off on weekends? Zhao Jiang, we get 2 days off a month, and we can choose the days ourselves. Dr. Zhou, that sounds tough. Zhao Jiang, it's alright, you get used to it. Dr. Zhou, by the way, did you continue having that dream after going home last night? Zhao Jiang lowered his head slightly, looked at the table, scratched his forehead, and said, after taking the medicine you prescribed, I slept soundly last night, without any dreams. Dr. Zhou, that's good. By the way, I forgot to ask you earlier, in the dream besides that mirror, was there anything else like glowing food or smoke? Dr. Zhou, when that hand in the mirror grabbed you, did the mirror change in any way, like rippling or showing any cracks? Dr. Zhou, when that hand in the mirror grabbed you, did the mirror change in any way, like rippling or showing any cracks? Zhao Jiang, no. Dr. Zhou, think carefully. What was the first impression of the surroundings when you entered that dream? Strange, familiar, eerie, warm, confusing, terrifying, or calm? Zhao Jiang, it should be strange. Every time I enter that dream, my first reaction is that it's quite odd here. Dr. Zhou, did you feel scared before touching the mirror? Zhao Jiang, no. Dr. Zhou, aside from the mirror in your dream, did you have any impressions of the other surroundings? Zhao Jiang, no. Dr. Zhou, what form did the extra knowledge in your mind take? Text, images, audio, video, or something else? Zhao Jiang rubbed his ears. Text. Let's leave the details for now, but you can sit for a bit. Dr. Zhou showed a warm smile and suddenly stood up. Zhao Jiang, all right. 2 minutes later, Dr. Zhou handed him a cup of hot tea. Here. Thank you. Dr. Zhou, the dream you experienced is academically classified as a recurring dream, but is quite special. It has a little-known name. Do you know what it is? Zhao Jiang, I don't know. Dr. Zhou stared intently at Zhao Jiang, speaking clearly. Parallel dream. As the name suggests, it is a type of dream that may connect to parallel worlds. According to existing records, there have been instances where individuals were replaced by someone from a parallel world due to this type of dream. Zhao Jiang swallowed, and then, Dr. Zhou, then the personality changes dramatically, and the person becomes extraordinarily unfamiliar, doing things that normal people find difficult to understand. Additionally, the likelihood of developing delusions also increases. Zhao Jiang, Dr. Zhou, do parallel worlds really exist? Dr. Zhou, to be honest, I'm not sure. But in the field of dream studies, it is generally assumed that parallel worlds do exist. Only in this way can many strange dreams have reasonable explanations. Zhao Jiang's hands unconsciously clenched. If parallel worlds really exist, how can I prevent being replaced by my parallel self? Dr. Zhou, generally speaking, the first rule is to avoid touching any objects in the dream, especially mirrors, black water, smoke, glowing food, and so on. Additionally, don't run around or wander into deep dream areas. Zhao Jiang, I touched the mirror in the dream before. Will that cause any problems? Dr. Zhou, as of now, everything about your situation seems normal, and since you haven't continued dreaming, there's no need to worry. If anything unusual arises later, feel free to contact me. Zhao Jiang, by the way, I suddenly remembered something. Dr. Zhou, what is it? Zhao Jiang, a colleague who runs deliveries with me, said he once had a dream where he was fully aware. He knew everything about his reality, and was also aware that he was dreaming. Dr. Zhou, do you know what kind of Dr. Zhou, this type of dream is called a lucid dream, which is also extremely rare. Many people go through their entire lives without experiencing one. Zhao Jiang, is there anything special about this type of dream? Dr. Zhou, of course it is special. From the perspective of the material world, it is equivalent to another space-time that is opposite to reality, another world outside of reality. This alternative world, which is based on material, yet transcends it, is what we refer to as the spiritual world or consciousness space. So far, research on lucid dreams has not yielded any groundbreaking discoveries. In terms of rarity, it is on par with parallel dreams. A notable dream scholar once proposed a hypothesis combining human evolutionary theory. He stated that lucid dreams act as a catalyst for accelerating human evolution. They are also a unique innate ability of the human species. Humans composed of physical bodies open up a space unique to consciousness, and then evolve through this consciousness space, benefiting the body and achieving resonance between consciousness and matter, thereby accelerating the evolution of the body. He claimed that within lucid dreams lie various treasures that promote human evolution, and as long as one finds and correctly utilizes those treasures in dreams, one can evolve ahead of time. To prove this, he personally attempted to replicate lucid dreams using various technological means. Ultimately, he failed and suffered severe sequelae due to prolonged excessive stimulation of the brain to the point where he had to rely on large amounts of medication to sleep later on. With his failure, the hypothesis he proposed quickly became a subject of ridicule and gradually faded into obscurity. Zhao Jiang Dr. Zhou, have you ever had a parallel dream or a lucid dream? Dr. Zhou, I would like to, but such things are hard to come by. Zhao Jiang, has anyone ever experienced both a parallel dream and a lucid dream simultaneously? Dr. Zhou, to my knowledge, no one has, neither in the past nor present. From a probabilistic perspective, this is exceedingly rare throughout human history, approaching zero. In normal circumstances, you can understand this as something highly unlikely to occur. Zhao Jiang, why is that? Dr. Zhou, parallel dreams are governed by a person's subconscious, while lucid dreams are controlled by a person's consciousness. The subconscious and consciousness are two independent systems. Although they coexist within a person, only one can operate at a time. You might be curious why that is, but I can't explain it clearly in just a sentence or two. You just need to understand one fact: since the birth of the human species, these two systems have operated in this manner throughout such a long time. If the situation you mentioned occurs, it means that this pattern has been disrupted. This goes against the fundamental operational rules of the human species. Zhao Jiang looked serious. I may not fully understand, but I feel there's a lot of truth in what you said. Dr. Zhou was taken aback, then smiled. I didn't expect you to be quite humorous. Zhao Jiang smiled shyly and quickly changed the topic. By the way, Dr. Zhou, the medicine you prescribed yesterday worked well. How much is it? I'd like to pay for it first. Dr. Zhou, just 10 yuan is fine. Is it that cheap? Dr. Zhou joked. What do you want me to charge you more? Zhao Jiang, no, I'm just surprised. When I was sick before, I went to various hospitals and pharmacies, and it often cost hundreds, and if it was severe, it could amount to thousands. Sometimes, even after spending the money, the illness might not be cured. Over time, I've developed a bit of resistance to hospitals and pharmacies, forming certain stereotypes. I've never seen a clinic like yours in the entire Huijing city. Dr. Zhou, the new medical reform in the country has already begun, and there will be more clinics and new hospitals like this in the future. I don't have cash on me. Can I pay with a scan? Sure, I'll scan for 20 yuan. Can you help me issue another prescription when I leave? I feel that medicine makes me sleep very well. No problem. Thank you, Dr. Zhou. Not a trouble. In the early morning, Osborne Building 201, room 2205. Zhao Jiang deliberately put on his underwear inside out, and under the influence of the drug, he broke the link with reality while holding a 60-kilogram strength bar in his right hand. Another lucid dream. As soon as Zhao Jiang entered the dream, he found himself incredibly awake. Not only was he aware of everything happening in reality, but he also remembered the lucid dream he had last night and its content. He glanced at his lower body and found that he was not wearing the inside-out underwear. Instead, he had on a pair of jeans that he had thrown away over 2 years ago. His right hand was empty, no familiar strength training device in sight. You're here, number 8. Accompanied by a familiar voice, a floating mirror suddenly appeared in front of him. Zhao Jiang looked up confused and stared at the other person. I wanted to ask last night, why do you call me number 8? The floating mirror replied, because you are Zhao Jiang from the 8th parallel world. Zhao Jiang was taken aback. The 8th parallel world? Yes. Zhao Jiang asked in bewilderment. Are you saying that before me there are 7 other parallel worlds? You come from one of those 7 parallel worlds, eh? Yes. Zhao Jiang frowned. There's one thing I don't quite understand. Why are you not staying in your own world and instead come to mine? Seeing the other party silent, Zhao Jiang added, although this is just a dream, it is still my world. After all, it is created by my consciousness. You are me from a parallel world. You should understand that I am quite suspicious. For certain reasons, I am not only lacking in love, but also in security. If certain questions remain unclear, I will always feel uneasy. If you want to coexist harmoniously in my dream, I hope you can be straightforward and honest. After finishing his sentence, the other party suddenly spoke. My world has been destroyed. Now I can only be considered a homeless ghost in the dream. The reason I came to your world is not a subjective choice of mine, but rather a coincidence that I cannot explain. Zhao Jiang asked, was the hand in the mirror from the dream 2 nights ago yours? The other party looked puzzled. The hand in the mirror. What hand in the mirror? From your timeline, I only discovered your dream last night. Zhao Jiang's expression darkened as he looked at the other person in silence. Seeing this, the other party chose to meet his gaze to prove he was not lying. The two stared at each other for a long time, failing to find any flaws in each other's eyes. Zhao Jiang was the first to speak. Which parallel world do you come from? Why did your world get destroyed? How did you enter my dream? I am Zhao Jiang from the 2nd parallel world. You can call me number 2. In my world, the 3rd World War took place, and after countless nuclear bombs, hydrogen bombs, and other devastating weapons ravaged the land, the entire world could no longer find a drop of clean water or a breath of fresh air. The Earth withstood the backlash of war, but humanity did not. After I died, my consciousness entered an incredibly vast parallel space, filled with countless things. Mirrors, towering mountains, glowing food, colorful smoke, and many other indescribable entities. I drifted in this immense space. Suddenly saw a glowing mirror, and you inside the mirror. You know, Zhao Jiang said. I remember you glanced back. What were you looking at? Number 2 replied. I vaguely heard a voice. Zhao Jiang asked, what voice? Number 2 replied, I can't describe it. Zhao Jiang continued. You mentioned something was gnawing at your leg. What was that thing? Number 2 shook his head, looking serious. I don't know either. Never encountered anything like it before. Zhao Jiang glanced at the world beyond the gray barrier, noticing the haunting void still existed deep in thought. Following Zhao Jiang's gaze, Number 2 said solemnly, after I was bitten, that world could no longer recover. The buildings and sky that vanished were actually a part of me. Zhao Jiang raised his hand, pointing at the gray barrier. Do you know what that is? I don't know. Zhao Jiang asked. Is the world over there filled with gloom and death because your world has been destroyed? Number 2 replied, it should be. Zhao Jiang asked, can I go over and take a look? Number 2 replied, sure. You can come with me. All right. Pitter-patter whoosh. Crackle crackle. The floating mirror flew ahead, while Zhao Jiang walked behind. As soon as they crossed the gray barrier, the world on the other side came to life, and suddenly it started to rain. Initially, it was a light drizzle, but within a breath it turned into a torrential downpour. The rain hit the ruins, making a crackling sound that was particularly jarring. Number 2 stood over Zhao Jiang's head, shielding him from the rain, while he paused to observe. Why is the rain black? After the Third World War in my area, it rained heavily for 10 straight days and nights. The rain was black, carrying a stench and a nauseating odor. It seems normal now, but in a few days the rain will become viscous, as if someone is pouring oil from the sky. That scene will be rare and shocking. Zhao Jiang extended his hand to feel the sensation of the black rain falling on him. Is this world a manifestation of your memory, or a creation of consciousness? Actually, I'm not sure, but I think it must be both. After all, this world is to some extent me. And memory and consciousness are just parts of me. Zhao Jiang asked, why does it feel so real, even more so than in reality? Your feelings in reality stem from the feedback of the body, and the body is composed of matter. In the interaction between matter and consciousness, the feelings may be somewhat weakened. This world has no matter, so all your sensations are direct, hence they feel more authentic. Zhao Jiang suddenly understood the difference between indirect and direct, right? Exactly. Zhao Jiang climbed to a high point of rubble and gazed into the distance. How big is this world? Number 2 above him replied, it should be as big as your real world. Zhao Jiang asked, if I walk far away, will I get lost and not find my way back? It's possible, but you don't need to worry. Once your body begins to awaken, you will return to the real world. This awakening power is not restricted by the dream world. Are you saying that whether I am on the other side of the gray barrier or this side, as long as the time comes, I will return to reality? Yes. Zhao Jiang asked, tell me, why did your world experience the Third World War? Number 2 replied, the specific reason I'm also not sure, but I suspect it was likely due to political disasters. Political disaster? What is a political disaster? Every nation possesses its own sovereignty, and government and politics is the sum of various social activities and relationships centered around the power of the state. Once this sum begins to collapse, calamity will inevitably ensue. A political disaster, simply put, is a tremendous catastrophe triggered by politics. Once we enter the information age, all countries will merge into a single entity under the momentum of the times. If a vital part of this entity suffers a complete failure, it will soon affect the entire world, potentially leading to a world war. Can I understand this as a significant country, due to its own collapse, deliberately dragging the entire world? Indeed. Zhao Jiang extended his hand into the black rain, feeling the sensation of raindrops on his skin. If that's the case, my real world doesn't seem too optimistic either. You see, this universe actually contains countless parallel worlds, but I refer to your world as the 8th parallel world. Aren't you curious why? Why? Because the previous 7 worlds have already been destroyed. Upon hearing this, Zhao Jiang felt his breath catch for a moment. An ominous premonition surged within him, leaving him with a tingling sensation on his scalp and chills in his soul. You must have guessed it by now, I and the other 6 parallel versions of you are in a sense harbingers of doom, ominous signs. Zhao Jiang swallowed hard and bitterly asked, do you mean that my real world is about to face the apocalypse? The possibility is quite high. The next morning, dawn quietly slipped through the window cracks, colliding directly with the dazed young man. After a long while, the alarm suddenly rang. Zhao Jiang snapped back to reality, righted his underwear, casually exercised his arm strength, and then got up to tidy himself, preparing to start work. In the evening, at a Sichuan restaurant named Mashang Tian on Lichuan Road No. 18. Zhao Jiang, waiting for his meal, glanced out the window. The sky was clear, the buildings were washed clean, and people were living happily with chatter, laughter, and playful shouts filling the street. just like any other day. He suddenly felt quite ridiculous. How could the world end so perfectly? But in the next instant his pupils constricted sharply, and he stood up abruptly. Zhao Jiang, what are you doing? You scared me, and I dropped my cigarette. Cheng Long, who was waiting for the meal with him, complained while picking up his cigarette. Zhao Jiang stared fixedly at the top of the tall building across from him, as if petrified, ignoring Cheng Long's complaints. Surrounding people were also baffled by his sudden abnormal behavior, all glancing over. What's wrong with you? Cheng Long patted Zhao Jiang's shoulder and followed his gaze, but saw nothing unusual. The order for 107 is ready. Just then a shout from the kitchen broke the tension. Zhao Jiang rubbed his eyes, took a deep look at the now empty rooftop, and turned to collect the order. What a mystery. Cheng Long looked at Zhao Jiang's back, smirked, and continued to smoke. Was that just an illusion? With the order in hand, Zhao Jiang navigated through the crowd, his mind filled with that fleeting glimpse. Could it be that I am developing a delusion? Unable to confirm what he had just seen, Zhao Jiang felt deeply conflicted, recalling Dr. Zhou's words, and began to self-doubt. He inhaled the pungent odor of sulfur dioxide emitted from the exhaust of the car in front, confirming that this was not a dream. Distractedly completing one order after another, Zhao Jiang finally endured until the end of his shift. Around 11 at night, at the Yasi Gutong Psychological Clinic. Why does your face look so bad? Dr. Zhou looked up while organizing the records and noticed Zhao Jiang. Zhao Jiang replied, Dr. Zhou, I need to trouble you with something. Go ahead. Zhao Jiang said. I would like you to help me confirm whether I am suffering from a delusion. Please take a seat. All right. Dr. Zhou responded. Since you are asking this question, it indicates that something unusual is happening to you. Can you tell me specifically what occurred? Zhao Jiang did not hide anything. While waiting for the order today, I saw a large rat appear on the rooftop across from me. It was holding something resembling a telescope and was observing something. Dr. Zhou asked the large rat. How big was it? Zhao Jiang replied. It was a bit far, but I estimate it was at least half a person tall. Dr. Zhou asked. You said it was holding something resembling a telescope. How big was that object? What shape was it? And what color do you remember? Zhao Jiang said. It was about 20 centimeters in size, shaped like binoculars, and seemed to be dark green. Dr. Zhou then asked, approximately how far were you from where it was located? Zhao Jiang answered, maybe 100 or 200 meters away. Zhao Jiang was utterly captivated, an expression of incredulity dawning upon his face. Dr. Zhou said, the maintenance worker was so terrified that he scrambled back to the ground, recounting his experience with vivid detail and informing the others of what he had seen and heard. But the others did not take him seriously. They merely teased him, asking why he did not catch one and bring it up for a look. If he could catch one, they jested, he might find out how nearsighted the rat was, what brand of glasses it wore, and whether it also enjoyed viewing adult content. Seeing their disbelief, he grew frantic and in desperation raised his hand to swear an oath, his demeanor exceedingly solemn and earnest. Observing his seriousness, the group sensed he was not joking. Thus, half believing and half doubting, driven by curiosity, they grabbed their tools and decided to go down and investigate. Yet when everyone descended, they discovered nothing at all. Just as they were about to dismiss it as the maintenance worker's prank, he, unwilling to accept defeat, later returned to the underground drain. There, in a crevice among the stones, he found a slip of paper bearing 5 characters, wise yet frail, a great taboo. Zhao Jiang queried, wise yet frail, a great taboo. Dr. Zhou pulled out his phone, opened his photo album, located a picture, and showed it to Zhao Jiang. This is it. Zhao Jiang studied the elegant handwriting on the photo, observing it for a long while before furrowing his brow. Did a rat write this? Dr. Zhou replied. If the maintenance worker did not lie, then it should be. Zhao Jiang asked, do you believe that maintenance worker? Dr. Zhou countered, why not? Zhao Jiang was momentarily at a loss for words. Dr. Zhou continued, as doctors we must also rely on evidence. In the absence of any proof that someone is lying, we generally assume for the time being that they are telling the truth. Even if many times what one sees and hears is extremely bizarre and defies common sense. Zhao Jiang seemed lost in thought. Dr. Zhou went on, professional necessity demands that we always maintain a rigorous attitude. We cannot define a patient or their condition based on subjective assumptions. We cannot assume a person is lying just because they appear to be a liar, nor can we assume they are telling the truth simply because they seem honest. That maintenance worker came to the clinic twice. Based on my observations and tests, he was not lying. Therefore, as incredible as his story sounds, it might very well be the truth. Zhao Jiang kept staring at the photo. Dr. Zhou, do you think it's possible that the maintenance worker like me is suffering from delusional disorder? Dr. Zhou shook his head. When he came the second time, I hypnotized him. Zhao Jiang was surprised. Hypnosis? Dr. Zhou said, Generally speaking, a person under hypnosis cannot lie. Zhao Jiang was astonished. You mean everything he said is true? Dr. Zhou nodded. Zhao Jiang looked into his eyes. So, I don't have delusional disorder. I am perfectly normal. Dr. Zhou nodded. Yes. Zhao Jiang took a deep breath, the weight lifted from his heart. Thank you, Dr. Zhou. I truly cannot thank you enough. Dr. Zhou replied, You're welcome. By the way, a colleague of mine, named Zheng, who specializes in dream studies, is returning from abroad next week. I've arranged to meet him to discuss matters related to dreams. If you're available, why don't you come along? Zhao Jiang was taken aback. Dr. Zhou said, he is even more accomplished than I am in the study of dreams. I feel he might be of help to you. Besides, he knows many little-known bizarre incidents. If you come with me the next time you encounter something similar, you won't let your mind run wild, lose your composure, and constantly suspect that something is wrong with you. Zhao Jiang was somewhat tempted upon hearing this, but after a moment's thought he considered the possibility of being a third wheel and wanted to decline politely. However, before he could speak, Dr. Zhou interjected. Our meetings are professional discussions among experts, utterly dry and devoid of any of those frivolous things you find online. As someone who has personally experienced parallel dreams, you are practically half a professional and qualified to attend. Zhao Jiang felt a bit awkward, as if his thoughts had been completely read. If I go, will I really not cause any trouble? No. Alright, I'll go. Dr. Zhou said, preliminarily set for next Wednesday. We haven't fixed the exact time and place yet. Let's exchange WeChat in a moment, and I'll notify you in advance. Zhao Jiang replied, Okay. Thank you for your trouble, Dr. Zhou. Deep in the night, in a room with the lights on, Zhao Jiang leaned against the headboard, staring intently at his phone screen, scrolling past one rat monster video after another. Only when his eyes could barely stay open did he put down his phone, turn off the light, and go to sleep. Just before drifting off, a question flashed through his mind. Will rats dethrone humans as the rulers of the earth? The moment he fell asleep, he heard number 2's voice, 8 over here. Zhao Jiang followed the sound, and saw number 2 rummaging through something beneath a dilapidated building not far away. At a single glance, he noticed a problem if his memory served him correctly. That ruined building, which blended seamlessly into its surroundings, had not existed before. Number 2, what are you doing? Come quickly. There seems to be something here. Zhao Jiang approached at a brisk pace. What is it? Number 2 used its reflective surface to shove aside a large chunk of rebar and debris-filled concrete. Not sure yet, but we're about to find out. A moment later, Zhao Jiang frowned. A coffin. Number 2 stopped hovering in the air and scrutinizing the object. It really is a coffin. Zhao Jiang took 2 steps back. When did this building appear? How could there be a coffin here? Number 2 replied, I'm not sure either. It was already here when I spotted it. As for the coffin, we should know after. With that, it aimed directly at the coffin's seam and began prying it open with force. Zhao Jiang did not act rashly, but kept a safe distance, observing. Number 2 worked swiftly. Within 2 breaths, it had pried off the coffin lid. The moment the lid fell, Number 2 noticed something peculiar. Inside the coffin lay neither a corpse nor treasure, but an elliptical capsule glowing with green light, engraved with various formulas and symbols. What is this thing? Zhao Jiang's eyes were momentarily dazzled by the sudden burst of green light, and he instinctively raised his hand to shield them. Number 2 hovered above, quietly examining it. After a long while, it murmured to itself, No way. What's wrong? Number 2 said, This is a rest pod. It requires manual operation. You open it. Zhao Jiang hesitated for a moment, then jumped down into the pit, curious. How do I open it? Number 2 explained, This is an electrolytic water rest pod. First, observe the path along which the green light travels. Memorize the pattern. Then, before the light reaches each point, move the symbols and formulas to form an electrolytic water cycle formula. Once the green light passes through the formula, it should open. A few minutes later, Zhao Jiang said, I figured out the green light's movement pattern, but what is the electrolytic water cycle formula? Number 2 shot him a surprised glance. Alright, I'll instruct, and you operate. Zhao Jiang agreed, Okay. Number 2 asked, See that H? Zhao Jiang replied, Yes. You know the number 2, right? See that lightning bolt symbol? First move the number 2, then H, then number 2 again, then O. After that, move the lightning bolt symbol and that formula. After completing that, move the circulation symbol, and finally combine it with the gas symbol and the completion formula. Zhao Jiang said, Slow down. I don't think I memorized that. Number 2 repeated the instructions at a slower pace. Zhao Jiang asked, Can we go through it one more time? Of course. After more than 10 minutes, Zhao Jiang felt confident. Timing the green light's movement and rhythm, he rapidly moved the symbols and formulas, completing the electrolytic water cycle formula. The next instant, a violent rumbling, Kong, 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 as if it would burst his eardrums. Terrifying vibrations surged relentlessly, making the entire dream seem to dance. Zhao Jiang could not keep his footing. He was thrown to the ground, covering his ears, curling into a ball, his face contorted in pain. At the same moment, the electrolytic water rest pod radiated an endless brilliance, flooding the entire dream, rendering it a pure expanse of green. After an unknown amount of time, the light dissipated, the tremors ceased, and the suffocating sense of calamity faded away, allowing Zhao Jiang to slowly rise. Just as Zhao Jiang stood up still trying to gather his thoughts, he sensed something amiss in the tone of number 2. Number 2 floated above the electrolysis water pod, the mirror facing downward reflecting the sky, and said word by word, "Your world is not looking good." "What do you mean?" Number 2's serious expression in the mirror made Zhao Jiang furrow his brows. "Why do you say that suddenly? Do you have any evidence?" Number 2 replied, "Look up at the sky." Zhao Jiang looked up and felt his pupils constrict, his body covered in goosebumps as a sense of blood-freezing suffocation overwhelmed him and his mind went blank. The originally dark sky floating with black smoke had turned transparent, resembling an enormous, boundless piece of glass. Above this glass, countless corpses floated, some human, some animal, some plant, and even microorganisms. The scenes of these corpses varied, some hideously contorted, others eerily serene, some dismembered, others perfectly intact. The bizarre atmosphere felt like a gigantic hand had gripped Zhao Jiang's lungs tightly, making it difficult for him to breathe. After a long while, number 2 spoke again. "I thought you would be scared out of your dream. I didn't expect you to hold on." Zhao Jiang took a deep breath, his face pale as he said, "What on earth is going on?" Number 2 replied, "I am not sure either. Like you, I have never encountered this before, but I do have some guesses. For now, put that aside and come check what's inside this rest pod. If I'm correct, there might be a surprise." Still in shock from the overwhelming sight of corpses, Zhao Jiang murmured, "Surprise." Number 2 confirmed, "Yes, but I can't see it clearly. You should be able to." Upon hearing this, Zhao Jiang approached the rest pod and looked inside. The pod was filled with an irregular hazy form that shifted like mist, making it hard to discern. However, the moment Zhao Jiang's gaze landed, it surprisingly calmed down and then slowly dissipated under Zhao Jiang's watchful eyes, revealing the true form beneath the corpse of Zhao Jiang. Zhao Jiang was taken aback and exclaimed, "What? What is this?" Number 2 did not respond, but suddenly directed a question at the corpse in the rest pod, saying, "Number 1, is that you?" The corpse slowly opened its eyes and replied calmly, "It's me." Number 2 said, "I suspected it was you. The electrolysis water pod is only suitable for your world." Number 1 turned its eyes toward Zhao Jiang, quietly observing him. Zhao Jiang suppressed his inner shock and confusion as he met its gaze. After more than 10 seconds, Zhao Jiang, facing number 1's tranquil eyes, spoke first. "Hello, I am Zhao Jiang from the 8th parallel world. You can call me number 8. Number 1 raised a hand and asked, "Could you give me a hand?" Zhao Jiang was taken aback for a moment, then reached out to help it sit up from the rest pod. As number 1 sat up, Zhao Jiang keenly noticed that the area where it had lain swirled with dazzling colors of black, resembling the mystery of time and space, as well as the elusive nature of fate. "Your dream is quite special, but also very dangerous." After sitting up, number 1 did not rush to introduce itself, but instead said something perplexing. Zhao Jiang was puzzled. Number 2's expression changed slightly. "Did you discover something?" Knock, 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 knock. Just as number 1 was about to continue, a series of loud, urgent knocks forced Zhao Jiang to reconnect with reality. "Is anyone in there? Open the door quick." As Zhao Jiang opened his eyes, he heard an impatient voice urging from outside the door. At the same time, he noticed that the outside was unusually bright, though the color of the light was somewhat off. "Fire." Realizing the severity of the situation, Zhao Jiang wasted no time and hurriedly packed important documents and his phone into his backpack, rushing barefoot out the door. "Is there anyone else inside?" As Zhao Jiang opened the door, he found heavily armed firefighters standing outside. "No, it's just me." The firefighter asked, "Are you sure?" Zhao Jiang replied, "Yes, I rented the entire apartment alone, 2 bedrooms, 1 living room, 1 kitchen, and 1 bathroom for $1,500 a month." The firefighter pointed not far away and instructed, "You need to quickly slide down that makeshift fire escape. The fire in this building is too fierce and may not be extinguished in a short time." Having said that, the firefighter rushed inside to check if anyone else was inside. Zhao Jiang looked at the firefighter's back and sincerely said, "Thank you for your hard work, and please be safe." When Zhao Jiang and the neighbors reached a safe area on the ground, the fire from the 6th to the 10th floor had become uncontrollable, raging fiercely with a massive amount of orange-earth flames, making the gray sky even brighter. Thick black smoke continued to rise, and in the face of the firefighter's water cannon, not only did its might not diminish, but it seemed to roar more ferociously, like a predatory beast instilling fear. "I told you something would happen, but you didn't believe me. Now look, the whole building is suffering." One neighbor remarked, "I heard in the group that the fire started on the 8th floor. This is karma. There's a limit to bullying honest people. Now look." Sigh. Another chimed in, "I told you that woman was trouble. If we had gotten rid of her sooner, nothing would have happened. Now look, she caused all this chaos, and we are suffering too. I spent so much on renovations, and now it's all gone to waste. With such a big fire, I wonder if the building can still be lived in after it's extinguished." Another neighbor commented, "I've seen buildings on fire before, but I've never seen a fire this fierce. In my opinion, this building is doomed." As Zhao Jiang listened to the conversations around him, he stared at the raging fire, feeling somewhat dazed. For a brief moment, he even found it hard to distinguish whether this was a dream or reality, feeling that everything was extremely abrupt. If it weren't for the objective and real information being conveyed by everything around him, he would rather believe he had truly become delusional. Whoosh, a gust of wind blew and he felt a chill under him, reminding him that he was only wearing something to cover himself. He took out his phone from his bag, checked the time, and realized it was almost 6 o'clock, immediately abandoning the thought of going to book a room to continue sleeping. Organizing his thoughts, he fixed his gaze on the building spewing fire like a dragon, his eyes suddenly firm as he turned to leave the scene. Compared to the ferocity of the fire, the visual shock and impact of the corpses obscuring the sky in his dream were evidently countless times stronger. Those corpses seemed alive. The moment he closed his eyes, they eagerly rushed forth from his memory, creating a sense of dread and unease. Even amidst the fire disaster, surrounded by many people, that feeling could not be diminished. He had never understood the meanings of the words bizarre and ominous so deeply. Though many questions remained unanswered, he knew he had to act immediately as time seemed to be running out for him. Whether the world would be destroyed, he did not know, but he truly did not want to die. The intense sense of crisis began to gnaw at his heart like a parasite. He still had many things left to do, many pleasures yet to enjoy. If an unimaginable disaster were to suddenly occur, he could not bear to think about what would happen next. The instinct to survive, magnified by the strangeness and ominousness, fully activated his desire to live as an ordinary person. Amidst his anxiousness and confusion, some words from number 2 involuntarily surfaced in his mind: to start a company, accumulate resources, seize talents, and develop technology to the fullest. These words served as a ray of light, giving him direction. Once the bow is drawn, there's no turning back. Can a delivery guy like me really do it? He thought, forget it. Even if it doesn't work, I must make it work. After a fierce internal struggle, he made his decision. He submitted his resignation application on the Mate 1 delivery platform. If the reviewer was already at work at that moment, they would have found that Zhao Jiang's reason for resignation was plainly filled in: I am probably sick. After submitting his resignation, Zhao Jiang quickly registered a technology company named No. 8 Fantasy Online, then hurried to the bank to open a corporate capital verification service, eager to complete the approval process as soon as possible. The company approval was swift. As soon as the bank completed the capital verification and confirmed it as green assets with a green corporation status, Zhao Jiang received a notification from the government agency that his company was successfully registered. Looking at the message on his phone, Zhao Jiang exhaled a long breath, feeling a mix of emotions he could not quite articulate. Just yesterday, he was delivering takeout, and in the blink of an eye, he had become the legal representative of a technology company. The change had come from a dream that would sound unbelievable to others. He did not know if he was going crazy or if the world had gone mad. All he knew was that from now on he could never return to the life path of delivering takeout. Due to the fire, the building had suffered significant damage, and the property management had issued a notice stating that for safety reasons the entire building would be temporarily sealed off and prohibited from habitation. Zhao Jiang called his landlord and then rented a cheap studio apartment nearby. Once he entered the studio, he shut the door and drew the curtains, ready to sleep. After a few breaths, Zhao Jiang severed his connection with reality. No. 8 here. As soon as he entered the dream, the familiar voice of No. 2 echoed in his ears. Zhao Jiang turned and looked in the direction of the gray barrier, discovering a person who looked exactly like him standing with his back to him, quietly gazing at the world beyond the barrier. Beside him, No. 2 floated in the air, smiling. You're here, No? 1 suddenly turned around and looked at, meeting No. 1's gaze. Zhao Jiang approached and got straight to the point. I have some urgent questions I want to know. No. 1 replied, ask away. Zhao Jiang asked, is everything I am experiencing now just my delusion, or is it objective reality? No. 1 responded, objective reality. Zhao Jiang asked, has your world really been destroyed? No. 1 replied, humanity has certainly been exterminated. Zhao Jiang looked at No. 2, who instantly understood his gaze, and explained, for us, if humanity is destroyed, it is equivalent to the world being destroyed, right? Zhao Jiang pondered for a moment, accepting this explanation, and continued, why do you think that if your world was destroyed, mine would be as well? No. 1 answered, speculation and intuition. Zhao Jiang repeated, speculation and intuition. No. 1 elaborated, among us, I was the first to experience the destruction of a world or the extinction of humanity. After I died, I went to the world where No. 2 is, and consequently No. 2's world was obliterated. After No. 2 died, we went to the world of No. 3 together, and that world also suffered a catastrophic disaster. You are the 8th world I have encountered. Based on the patterns from the previous 7 worlds, it is likely that your world will also face calamity. Zhao Jiang asked, what caused the destruction of your worlds? No. 1 answered, my world was destroyed because it suddenly lost sunlight, most likely due to the sun extinguishing. No. 2's world was destroyed by a political catastrophe that led to the 3rd World War. No. 3's world was obliterated by an invisible asteroid akin to the extinction of the dinosaurs. No. 4's world was destroyed by a terrifying apocalyptic virus. No. 5's world underwent a transhuman evolution event leading to humanity being slaughtered to near extinction. No. 6's world was invaded by aliens due to an accident resulting in humans facing a dimensional collapse, becoming a part of history. No. 7's world was dominated by artificial intelligence and humans were no match for it, akin to fireflies against the bright moon. Zhao Jiang stared into No. 1's calm eyes, his hands beginning to tremble involuntarily. His intuition told him that what the other was saying was the truth. In that moment, he felt an unprecedented pressure that made even thinking difficult. You don't need to be too afraid. We will do everything we can to help you avoid this outcome. No. 1 placed a hand on Zhao Jiang's shoulder, and the calm words carried a powerful conviction. Zhao Jiang looked into No. 1's eyes and suddenly asked, "Is the extinction of humanity inevitable?" No. 1 replied, "Whether it is or not, we have no choice. If the extinction of humanity is an inevitable fate, then what we must do is defy that fate. If humanity's destruction is a probable event, then what we need to do is seek out the improbable part. The world is so vast, humanity should have its place." Zhao Jiang asked, "What should I do?" No. 2 interjected, "I discussed this with No. 1 to do as I previously instructed. Start a company, quietly accumulate strength, and once that strength reaches a certain level, focus on nurturing or acquiring talent, then rapidly develop technology. During this process, if anything unexpected occurs, we will do our best to help you resolve it." No. 1 added, "No. 8. Remember that technology is your only means to combat fate or disaster." Zhao Jiang said, "I have already resigned and successfully registered a technology company. What should I do?" No. 1 advised, "After you return to reality, first get a sense of the current state of science and technology in the world, especially in these fields: aerospace, nuclear energy, artificial intelligence, biological life, genetic engineering, biomedicine. Once you understand these, No. 1 and I will teach you some advanced practical technologies based on the current level of technology in your world, allowing your company to rise quietly. Do you understand?" Zhao Jiang asked, "What if I can't remember all that information, or if I remember it incorrectly?" No. 2 replied, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, once you return to reality, everything you experience there will manifest in this dream in some form like omens." Zhao Jiang exclaimed. No. 2 reassured him, "Don't be surprised, although we don't know why your dream offers you quite good protection." When No. 1 and I entered the dream of No. 3, regardless of whether he returned to reality, we could share his visual window in real time. What he could see, we could also see. Zhao Jiang asked curiously, "Can you not share my vision?" No. 2 responded, "No, we cannot." Zhao Jiang inquired, "What about my ears or other organs?" No. 2 said, "No either." No. 1 and I have tried. In any way we cannot perceive any part of your body, nor can we establish a substantial connection. Your dream seems to completely isolate us from your reality." Zhao Jiang asked, "Why is that?" No. 1 explained, "Each parallel dream is unique, so the circumstances will vary. If we were to delve into the reasons, I believe that neither I nor anyone else could provide an answer. The wonders contained within parallel worlds have likely exceeded the limits of human understanding." Zhao Jiang asked, "Is there a limit to human understanding?" No. 1 affirmed, "Yes. The human brain can only process what it has seen or understood, or it cannot handle anything unknown or beyond comprehension. It's like me asking you to imagine a white color you've never seen, or try it, and see if you can imagine it." Zhao Jiang tried, and then shook his head. No. All the white that appears in my mind consists of things I've seen or heard of before. Something I've never seen is utterly unimaginable, or rather impossible to recall. Remember this feeling. It is a kind of cognitive limit. In the world of number 7, cognitive limit is a very famous discipline. It is a brand new discipline created by an artificial intelligence system. According to their research, if a species wants to evolve to a higher level, this discipline is almost unavoidable. Although humans triggered the Industrial Revolution through knowledge and wisdom, thereby stepping into the modern world, in terms of society and life, human evolution itself remains stagnant. Once a new species triggers a revolution on the path of self-evolution, before humans, humanity is likely to fall from its throne and become the abandoned child of the era. Zhao Jiang said, "Was the destruction of world number 5 due to this reason?" Number 1 replied, "Yes. The transcendent evolution that occurred in world number 5 was essentially a revolution from life itself." Zhao Jiang said, "In the real world, I discovered some intelligent rats. Could they be undergoing transcendent evolution?" Number 1 paused and said seriously, "At present what they have shown can only be described as evolution, not quite transcendent. As for what they haven't shown, it is impossible to know or judge. However, out of caution, I suggest you take them seriously from the start, even if they haven't yet exhibited anything that could threaten humanity's dominant position." Zhao Jiang nodded. Actually, after confirming with Dr. Zhou that I don't have delusions, I had a simple. Number 2 said, Number 8, you must fully develop the wisdom of nipping problems in the bud. I suffered from this oversight. Even with number 1's help, I left countless regrets and finally watched the world be destroyed. Number 1 turned to number 2 and comforted, some things are beyond reach even if you give everything you have. Some disasters cannot be avoided even if you try 10,000 times. From results to causes, billions of possibilities exist. From causes to results, often only one. This difference, in the words of world number 7, is called probabilistic destiny. Facing probabilistic destiny, I failed and you failed. But we both fought, and we are still fighting. Isn't that a certain meaning of existence? Number 2 sighed deeply. Sensing the atmosphere, Zhao Jiang quickly changed the subject. Can you tell me about the anomalies? I'm curious. After all, after I return to reality, I have no idea what will happen in the dreams later. Number 1 said, Your dream is strange, unlike any we've seen before. Logically, once you return to reality, the entire dream should stall and enter a static state. However, that is not the case. Even when you leave the dream, everything here continues to exist and operates in an incomprehensible manner. Everything you experience in reality is presented in this state. Sometimes a glowing cloud shows your conversation with the doctor, sometimes a wind blows up scenes from your work, sometimes a rolling stone reveals slides of your thoughts along its path. These anomalies, no matter how far we are, can be observed with great clarity. Number 2 added, not only that these anomalies possess an imprinting function. Once I and number 1 see them, we cannot forget them as if they are engraved in our minds, and we have experienced them personally. Zhao Jiang suddenly understood. So you know everything I experience in reality. Number 1 and number 2 nodded simultaneously, one from the mirror, the other from the air. Zhao Jiang thought of something, and his face lit up. In that case, if I go back to reality and gather enough information, you can effectively know the real situation and related circumstances. That's right. Zhao Jiang sighed in relief. That's good. That's good. Real World, November 19th, Wednesday. Buzz. Zhao Jiang, who was engrossed in browsing various technology-related materials on the paid website Omniscient World, took out his vibrating phone and saw that the caller was Dr. Zhou. Mr. Zhao, good morning. I hope I didn't disturb your rest at this hour. No. I made a reservation with Senior Brother Zheng at Jinli Xiang's second floor, room 301, around noon. Should I pick you up, or shall I send you the address, and you come on your own? I'll come on my own. I'm quite familiar with Jinli Xiang. All right, then, see you at Jinli Xiang at noon. No problem. After hanging up, Zhao Jiang immersed himself in browsing various materials, countless characters washing over his pupils. The sun was bright and noon arrived in the blink of an eye. Zhao Jiang timed his departure from the internet cafe and took a taxi to Jinli Xiang. Mr. Zhao, over here. As soon as he got out of the car, Zhao Jiang saw Dr. Zhou waving at him from the entrance. Dr. Zhou, am I late? Zhao Jiang walked over, took out his phone to check the time, and looked a bit nervous. No, we just arrived. By the way, this is the Senior Brother Zheng I mentioned. Dr. Zhou was not in her work uniform today, as she wore a comfortable casual outfit looking like a sophisticated mature woman. Hello, Mr. Zhao. My name is Zheng Chong. Pleased to meet you. Hello, Mr. Zheng. My name is Zhao Jiang. It's an honor to meet you. Dr. Zhou watched them shake hands politely and smiled lightly. Let's go to the private room first. The entrance is noisy and crowded. Okay. All right. 2 minutes later, in room 301 on the second floor. You two, shall we start with small talk to get familiar, or jump straight to the topic? As soon as she sat down, Dr. Zhou posed a straightforward question. Zhao Jiang and Zheng Chong, who wore black-rimmed glasses, exchanged glances and smiled politely. The next moment, Zhao Jiang spoke up. I personally prefer an open and direct approach. Zheng Chong and Dr. Zhou placed her white bag on an empty chair beside her and said with a smile, In that case, let's begin. He'll go first. Senior Brother Zheng, I've had a question that puzzles me. Can you help me with it? Junior Sister Zhou, please go ahead. Is a dream sent by a dead person merely the living's fantasy, or is there truly information transmitted from the afterlife into reality? As soon as this question was raised, Zheng Chong immediately wiped the smile off his face, while Zhao Jiang beside him also frowned. After a long moment, Zheng Chong smiled bitterly and said, Junior Sister Zhou, your question has really stumped me. To be honest, although I have also dabbled in the study of dreams related to the deceased, I have never considered this question from this perspective before. I am probably incapable of providing a satisfactory answer to your question, but I do have some research findings that might offer. Please go ahead, Senior Brother Zheng. Based on some research by my team and me, we have found that in the field of neurology, the living generally only dream of things and people they have seen or have an impression of. As for things and people he has never seen or has no impression of, they basically do not appear in his dreams, but this is not absolute. There was once a child named Buluan who often had a strange dream during his childhood. In the dream, an old man he had never seen before always came to chat with him. The old man told him that he was his great-grandfather who had participated in the Marine War and the Peninsula War. When Buluan drew the old man from his dream, his parents were moved to tears and told him that the old man in the dream was his great-grandfather who had passed away many years ago. Buluan had never seen his great-grandfather, at least not the living great-grandfather, but he still dreamed of. If Buluan and his family were not lying, then there might indeed be an afterlife world somewhere beyond our perception. As for why the deceased would want to convey messages to the living, that is completely beyond the scope of our research. Dr. Zhou, senior brother Zheng, is it possible that this child named Buluan had seen some things left behind by his great-grandfather in this world, such as portraits or diaries? Or perhaps he had heard related stories from the conversations of others. Zheng Chang, you mean that the source of Buluan's dream is still based on reality, not a baseless fabrication? Dr. Zhou nodded. Personally, I think this probability is relatively high. After all, you said that Buluan's great-grandfather had participated in the Marine War and the Peninsula War. Surviving those wars would certainly become a source of pride for the family. And pride, whether at home or abroad, is worth promoting, isn't it? Inevitably, his deeds would be widely publicized by the family, and over time all kinds of information would permeate his clan. Born into such a family, Buluan would logically be hard not to be influenced. At most, it would be a difference between tangible and intangible influence. Zheng Chang nodded thoughtfully. Junior sister Zhou, your thinking is very sharp, and your logic is very rigorous. With your doubt, I feel that this possibility indeed exists. Dr. Zhou looked into Zheng Chang's eyes. The reason for my doubt, besides what I just said, is another point. That is, if the great-grandfather in Buluan's dream truly came from the afterlife, why didn't he talk to Buluan about the other world, but instead talked about things that once happened in this world? For instance, the wars he mentioned. Not to mention whether Buluan was interested, he had never witnessed them, he completely lacked understanding, had no concept. What meaning was there in talking about them with him? In cruder terms, it was somewhat like playing the lute to a cow. Zheng Chang, what you said makes a lot of sense. It's a pity that we didn't think of these during our research. Otherwise, we would definitely have further strengthened the research, eliminating impossible factors one by one to properly argue this issue. By the way, junior sister Zhou, you must have some reason for asking this question, right? Dr. Zhou, earlier a young man came to the clinic for dream interpretation. He told me a story. He said that around the Chinese New Year last year, his grandmother appeared in his dream saying that her house had been crushed by a big tree, and she asked him to help move the tree away. This person was somewhat superstitious, so after waking up, he kept the matter in mind. During the New Year holiday, he returned to his hometown and visited his grandmother's grave. As it turned out, one corner of her grave had indeed been crushed by a tree as thick as a bull's mouth. What do you think? Is this a coincidence, or does an afterlife world truly exist? Having said this, Dr. Zhou paused and looked at Zheng Chang and Zhao Jiang. Zhao Jiang met Dr. Zhou's gaze, pressed his lips together without speaking, lost in thought. As to whether there are other worlds after death, his answer was affirmative. After all, in his dreams, there currently resided two spirits from parallel worlds. As for worlds beyond parallel worlds, he was indeed somewhat curious. According to Dr. Zhou, the afterlife world where the young man's grandmother resided was closely connected to the real world. Otherwise, it would be impossible for a tree in reality to collapse a corner of the grave and for the house in the afterlife to be collapsed accordingly. The only difference was that the grandmother referred to a big tree, whereas the tree in reality as thick as a bull could not be considered a big tree. If there truly exists a world of the dead beyond reality, where is that world, and in what form does it exist? Do all the dead go to that world, or is it only a probability? Zheng Chang glanced at Zhao Jiang, who was deep in thought, and said, although there is no evidence personally, I think there should be other worlds in this universe, just on different dimensions from ours. Dr. Zhou, I myself actually lean towards this view, but as a doctor, I always want to find some evidence, try to analyze it with scientific methods, and provide convincing grounds. Zheng Chang, junior sister Zhou, your spirit is admirable, but putting this into practice is very difficult. My team and I have made extensive efforts to verify various conjectures, but the final result is that most of those conjectures remain conjectures. To borrow a phrase from a philosophy friend, we are like searching for a black cat that doesn't exist in a dark room. Sometimes if we are lucky and catch one, it might have been deliberately placed there by someone else. Dr. Zhou smiled gracefully. Senior brother Zheng, you are quite humorous. Zheng Chang said seriously, junior sister Zhou, this is not humor at all. One of my mentors was once deliberately fooled by someone. To verify the relationship between dreams and spiritualism, he once led a team across the country searching for spiritual mediums, wanting to know whether they truly could communicate with spirits or were fabricating those messy stories under the guise of spiritualism. At the beginning, things went smoothly until they encountered a great spiritualist named Gahat Bolai. Gahat Bolai pretended to cooperate with my mentor, but secretly hired people to put on a performance using various props and scenarios to fool my mentor and his team. Just as my mentor and his team were elated about making a breakthrough, little did they know they had become actors in Gahat Bolai's script. The day my mentor and his team published their new paper was exactly the day Gahat Bolai released his video. The outcome goes without saying. You can guess it. My mentor and his team became the laughingstock of everyone. Dr. Zhou suddenly realized. So Professor Jidlin is your mentor? Zheng Chang nodded. Yes, he mentored me for a year and gave me great help. In my opinion, he is an excellent ment. Bang bang bang. Dang dang dang. Kacha kacha kacha. Ping ping pang pang. Earthquake run. Watching the cups on the table, the water in the cups and the bowls and chopsticks suddenly start dancing on their own, Zhao Jiang was the first to react. He let out a loud roar and pulled Dr. Zhou towards the door of the private room. Dr. Zhou reacted a beat too late, nearly stumbling to the ground, as Zhao Jiang pulled him back, just in time. Before Dr. Zhou could even say thank you, Zhao Jiang suddenly exerted force, pulling her and rushing out. Don't stop. Let's run all the way to that square. Huff, ah, well, huff. Dr. Zhou, who had never experienced such intense running, plopped down on the square, gasping for breath, pale as a ghost, her body swaying uncontrollably with the tremors. Huff, well, huff. Zheng Chang, who followed closely behind, lay flat on the ground, his chest heaving violently, his face a mask of shock. Is this also just a coincidence? Zhao Jiang, with the strongest physical constitution, bent slightly forward, supporting himself on his knees to steady his body against the shaking ground while scanning the surroundings. As he saw several dilapidated buildings and various facilities collapsing one after another, his expression turned grave. Wow. Wah. Mommy. A shrill cry rang out, prompting Zhao Jiang to turn around. In the next moment, he pivoted and surged across the street. A panicked little girl sat helplessly on the ground, crying loudly, surrounded by fallen trees and rubble that buried the original appearance of the street. Beside her, a woman in white was trapped under a suddenly collapsed tree trunk, struggling and calling for help. A large crowd of panicked people rushed past her, leaving numerous footprints in the rubble, yet not a single person was willing to stop. The intense tremors continued, and various cries, screams, shouts, and pleas for help rose and fell, enveloping the people in an inexplicable fear that made them seek out a safe place. Zhao Jiang rushed forward with the utmost speed, lifting the tree trunk with all his might to rescue the woman in white, and then picked up the little girl in red, rushing back to the square. Thank you so much. The woman in white, her face streaked with tears, her skirt tattered, and uneven bloodstains appearing on her stockings, could barely stand against the tremors, but continued to bow and thank Zhao Jiang. No need to thank me. You should tend to your leg wounds first. Zhao Jiang set down the little girl, allowing her to take her mother's hand for comfort. Do all delivery workers have such good physical fitness like you? Just as Zhao Jiang continued to observe the surroundings, Dr. Zhou's voice suddenly came from behind. She had not expected that after such intense running, Zhao Jiang could still rush out to save someone in such a short time. For her part, if she hadn't taken a few deep breaths, she wouldn't even have had the strength to stand up, let alone save any. Watching Zhao Jiang, she deeply realized for the first time the importance of physical fitness. Those who work all year round should be similar. After all, they run so far and climb so many floors every day. A voice from the side interjected, this earthquake is quite significant. I've experienced earthquakes abroad before, but none compare to this one. Zhao Jiang looked at the sign of Jinli Xiang falling and crashing to the ground, murmuring it might reach a magnitude of 8. Dr. Zhou reminded, your hand is injured. Zhao Jiang looked down at his hand, noticing a few cuts oozing blood. It's nothing, just a small scratch from a branch, it's no big deal. Junior sister Zhou, has such a big earthquake ever occurred in Huijing City before? Zheng Chang, having caught his breath, got up from the ground, balancing himself, while curious. Huijing is situated in the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River, the Yellow Sea earthquake zone, which is a medium-strength seismic belt. Normally, earthquakes of magnitude 4 to 6 may occur, but an earthquake of this magnitude should not happen. Before Dr. Zhou could respond, a balding middle-aged man nearby answered on her behalf. Zhao Jiang looked at the increasingly severe disaster around him, his brows tightly knitted, constantly reminding himself not to act impulsively, as his safety was paramount. On the main road about 20 meters away from Zhao Jiang and the others, a white Wongjia 7 came to a stop. As the occupants opened the door to get out, the ground suddenly collapsed sideways, causing the entire vehicle to tilt uncontrollably and directly cover the person who was about to exit. A snow-white arm protruded from the wreckage, blood spreading continuously, glaringly bright against the gray dust. With keen eyesight, Zhao Jiang saw it immediately and rushed over without hesitation. As he rushed forward, he silently cursed himself, this damn kindness will cost me big one day. Just as he stepped onto the road and was about to rush in front of the car, a loud blast erupted from the ground, shaking the earth violently, followed by Zhao Jiang experiencing a strong sensation of weightlessness. My accursed crow's mouth. Dr. Zhou, who had been watching Zhao Jiang from the square, suddenly showed an expression of immense terror, then uncontrollably screamed. What? How could this be? Zheng Chang stared in disbelief at the direction where Zhao Jiang had disappeared, completely stunned. Following his gaze, it turned out that various vehicles still parked and trees collapsing along the roadside with scattered debris had completely vanished, replaced by a horrifying gaping hole. Surrounding the hole, a large amount of rubble and broken branches continued to slide into it, as if being swallowed by a suddenly appeared abyss. "Are you awake?" The voice of number 2 echoed by his ear. Zhao Jiang opened his eyes to find that he was actually in a dream. "How did I wake up in a dream?" Zhao Jiang looked puzzled. Number 2 floated above him, saying, "You're likely in a faint state in reality." Zhao Jiang frowned. "Wait a minute, I seem to have trouble remembering what happened last in reality. You were saving people during the earthquake, encountered ground sinking, and sank underground with the earth." Zhao Jiang shook his head. "Now that you mention it, I seem to have some impression. Hey, what are those things in the sky?" "Unclear, but they appeared alongside you." Zhao Jiang looked at the huge red tentacles twisting and swaying in the sky, surrounded by large fluffy pink balls, feeling immensely curious. "Number 1, I think you need to return to reality quickly." The voice of number 1 suddenly came from behind, tinged with seriousness. Zhao Jiang turned around. "Number 1, did you discover something?" Number 1 pointed to the sky seriously, saying, "Since they appeared, I have been observing them. I feel they might not just be products of your dream." Zhao Jiang asked, "What do you mean?" Number 1 replied, "If they are not entirely products of your dream, your physical situation in reality might be dire. You need to wake up quickly and save yourself." Zhao Jiang inquired, "How do we determine if they are products of my dream?" Number 1 responded, "Observe closely. They exhibit very clear aggression and intent, which is entirely at odds with the nature of dreams. They seem to want to come in." Zhao Jiang focused and saw that the massive red tentacles were continuously assaulting the transparent barrier in the sky, exhibiting strong aggression. Number 1 urged, "There's no time to lose. You should return to reality. Surviving is your primary task right now." With that, he suddenly attacked Zhao Jiang, causing him to vanish from the dream. "Number 1, it's still you who is decisive." Number 2 looked at the steel bar in number 1's hand, recalling the moment he suddenly jabbed it into Zhao Jiang's skull. He couldn't help but gesture in admiration. Number 1's expression was serious. "Shall look at the sky." Number 2 looked up, his expression instantly turning grave. "Why are they still not disappearing?" Number 1 warned number 8 might be in big trouble. Just as the words left his mouth, the red tentacles outside the sky barrier began to protrude eyes from their tips, struggling to peer into the barrier. Crack! The moment those eyeballs touched the sky barrier, Zhao Jiang's entire dream suddenly emitted a crisp, shattering sound, and then the whole dream seemed to lose power, plunging into darkness without a single ray of light. Oh, so warm, so comfortable. As soon as Zhao Jiang connected to reality, he felt an unprecedented. It was like soaking in a steaming hot spring on a freezing winter day, limbs relaxed, unwilling to move, or like being embraced by the one you adore in a moment of loneliness, warming the heart and soothing the soul. In this comfort, the instinct of laziness grew amplified. His entire body hinted, "Do nothing, indulge, and quietly savor this feeling." What distinguishes humans as advanced animals is that reason often defies instinct. Zhao Jiang relished this feeling, but did not wish to wallow in it. At least not until he had figured out some questions. Overcoming his Buddhist instinct, he moved his eyelids slowly, opened his eyes, and tried to see what was causing this bliss. But the next second, cold sweat involuntarily broke out on his back. A colossal pink, translucent strange tree over 100 meters tall stood silently in the darkness. Its branches stretched and swayed, covered in pink blossoms that kept opening and closing. Inside those blossoms were all kinds of animals: huge rats, slender snakes, ants the size of thumbs, purplish-black earthworms. All known and unknown creatures lay motionless. In each of their mouths was inserted a flower stem-like tendril, and a pink, glowing liquid was continuously infused into them, giving them an eerie and satisfied tranquility. Zhao Jiang looked away and examined himself. He found that, like those animals of all sizes and shapes, he was also wrapped in a pink blossom, with a transparent stamen-like tendril inserted into his mouth, delivering the unknown pink, glowing liquid into his body. Though it felt dreamlike and magical, Zhao Jiang hesitated not. He directly grabbed the tendril and forcefully pulled it out of his body. Puffed! The moment the tendril left his mouth, Zhao Jiang's head spun, then a sharp pain struck him, making him gasp sharply. Hissa! Tracing the pain to its source, he found that on both legs between the flesh there were cracks about a finger wide with obvious dislocation, like sugar cane that had been snapped halfway and then pressed back together. "It's over." Zhao Jiang's hand paused above the cracks, his heart sinking. These legs were temporarily unusable. He glanced at the tendril coated in unknown viscous liquid and fell into deep thought. He didn't know how he had ended up on this bizarre tree or inside this blossom, but one truth was pressing for emergence. Without this strange, translucent giant tree and the disgusting tendril in his mouth, he would probably have been dead. Outside the darkness, in a futuristic, highly technological, yet stylistically eccentric control room. "Your Royal Highness, there's an anomaly in Lab 0. A giant rat over 2 meters tall with bulging muscles and a tail longer than a meter clad in an unknown protective suit, suddenly spoke. What anomaly! The human initial experimental sample we sent in 3 days ago has broken free of the fire coral's spore hypnosis, pulled out the life catheter on its own, and is now sitting there in a daze. Oh. In the center of the control room, inside a circular glass chamber, a pure white giant rat switched the surveillance screen to Lab 0, and Zhao Jiang's face instantly appeared on the monitor. Check the experiment logs, data surveillance, and biometric monitors. Analyze carefully how he escaped the spore hypnosis. Yes. Inside Lab 0, after a long moment of contemplation, Zhao Jiang abandoned the idea of waiting for death and decided to use his hands to explore below. Enduring the pain, he crawled out of the blossom, sliding down the trunk inch by inch extremely slowly toward the ground. Human, your will to survive is strong. No sooner had he slid to the ground and caught his breath than a voice suddenly came from behind, almost scaring him. Zhao Jiang spun around, his whole body tensed, his eyes blazing. The next second, when he saw the source of the voice, his pupils contracted violently, his body involuntarily shuffled backward, and his hands trembled uncontrollably. Human, surprised? A white-furred giant rat in a black protective suit emerged from the shadows, step by step approaching Zhao Jiang. You can actually speak human language. Zhao Jiang stared at the creature in disbelief, his shock beyond words. What if I told you I also speak bird? Would you be even more surprised? Zhao Jiang, you humans have a saying, more skills are no burden. I just picked up another foreign language. No need to be so amazed. Zhao Jiang stared fixedly at the creature, raised his hand, and pinched his own face. It hurt a little. Stop pinching. If this were a dream in your eyes, I should look like a beautiful human woman, not a furry face with whiskers crossing. Stop pinching. If this were a dream in your eyes, I should look like a beautiful human woman, not a furry face. Zhao Jiang nodded involuntarily. After 1 minute, he spoke first. Are you a real rat or a human in disguise? The white-furred giant rat retorted, what do you think? Zhao Jiang, can I touch you? The giant rat was taken aback, then laughed scornfully at the request. Heh, and where would you like to touch? Zhao Jiang, I want to feel the fur under your suit. The giant rat, do you know what position I hold in your human social hierarchy? Zhao Jiang narrowed his eyes, studied her closely, then replied, a scientist. The giant rat shook her head, wrong. A firefighter. Keep guessing. A security guard. No. A white-collar worker. Even further off. 2 minutes later, Zhao Jiang gave up. I can't guess. Just tell me. The white-furred giant rat enunciated each word, royal princess. Zhao Jiang paused, then blurted out, your rat clan still practices feudalism. The giant rat. After a moment, she explained, feudal or not doesn't matter. Whatever works is fine. A great man from your country once said it doesn't matter whether a cat is black or white as long as it catches mice, it's a good. Perhaps to you humans the authoritarian class system is an outdated feudal institution, but for our rat clan's current situation, it is just right. Zhao Jiang. While that makes sense, don't you feel a bit awkward? The giant rat, the cultural core, doesn't lie in form. For my kin, how you humans label or despise us, we are pragmatic, we only want the truth within the range of our cannons and the dignity at the tip of our swords. Zhao Jiang pursed his dry lips. That's true. Different species yet cultures can merge. Master Ace famous saying, indeed, a beacon illuminating the law of the jungle. The giant rat stared into Zhao Jiang's eyes. So have you realized it now? Zhao Jiang realized what? The giant rat. I am the princess of the rat clan. The request you made earlier. In your human society, that would be public indecency, and toward a superior at that. How do you think I should deal with you without demeaning my status? Zhao Jiang met the other's jet black obsidian-like eyes, paused for a moment, then asked, can you cook? The white-furred rat, no. Zhao Jiang shrugged. What a pity. If you could cook, I think my sinewy flesh would make a fine braised dish. The white-furred rat. I can't, but others of my kind can. What do you wish to become my meal? Zhao Jiang. Given the objective situation, my odds of survival are less than 1 in 10,000. Rather than die an obscure death, I might as well deliver myself as a human takeout meal. After all, you are a royal princess of the rat clan. It wouldn't disgrace my profession or my body. The white-furred rat. So your profession in human society was that of a delivery man. Zhao Jiang hadn't expected her to even know about delivery men. You have a deep understanding of human culture. The white-furred rat's whiskers twitched. Only by thoroughly studying one's enemy can one hope to defeat them, isn't that so? Zhao Jiang gave a thumbs up. Impressive. Admirable. The white-furred rat, seeing Zhao Jiang suddenly unafraid, asked curiously, are you truly so convinced that you will die? What if I don't kill you? Zhao Jiang looked up at the enormous, translucent pink tree. If I'm not mistaken, from the moment I entered this place, I stepped into a death trap. Even though I don't want to die. In fact, I wish to beg you not to kill me. My reason tells me that before certain colossal secrets, the more naive one's thoughts, the more ugly one's behavior becomes. I am an ordinary man. I can't utter such noble words as better to die standing than live kneeling, but at least I can see reality clearly, face death, and choose to die with dignity. Hearing this, the white-furred rat's gaze hardened, and she fell silent. Seeing her silence, Zhao Jiang continued. When I first woke up, I thought it was just a coincidence, that this bizarre giant tree was a natural wonder. Even if dangerous, I still had a glimmer of hope. Even with both legs broken, half my mobility gone, I believed I could make it back to the ground. That's why despite the excruciating pain, I insisted on climbing down. But your appearance shattered my naive illusions and my last shred of hope. Your presence here means nothing here is coincidence. Since it's not coincidence, there must be some necessity and a direction to that necessity. If I'm not mistaken, this place is some sort of advanced testing ground or secret research base of your rat clan, isn't it? A moment later, seeing her still silent, Zhao Jiang pressed on. It seems I guessed correctly. This is the secret research facility of your rat clan, a forbidden zone for all other species. Any creature that enters, whether actively or passively, has its fate sealed from the start, and only one outcome, am I right? The white-furred rat nodded. You are very clever. What a pity. Zhao Jiang adjusted his posture and sighed calmly. All men must die either as weighty as Mount Tai or as light as a feather. The former is what I desire, but the circumstances don't allow it. This ordinary feather of mine, I wonder where it will drift after death, and what scenery it will behold. By the way, honorable rat princess, I wonder if I could trouble you with a small matter. The white-furred rat, let's hear it. Zhao Jiang. If you don't want to waste the takeout ingredients that walked right up to you, and do plan to braise my flesh, please be sure to tell your clan chef to wait until I've breathed my last before cutting. The white-furred rat. If I recall correctly, you humans prefer your ingredients fresh when cooking. Live fish, live chickens, live ducks. After all, stale ingredients ruin the flavor, don't they? Zhao Jiang, that's for other ingredients. Human flesh tastes better when dead. Alive, it's gamey and stinks. No method can remove that smell like the pork from country E. The white-furred rat bared her teeth in a grin, revealing 2 large front incisors. You look utterly serious while spouting nonsense. It's amusing. Zhao Jiang's face reddened. Where am I spouting nonsense? The white-furred rat. The reason pork in country E has a smell is that they use electrocution to kill pigs without bleeding them. But here in the East, they always bleed the pigs first before processing the meat. If human flesh also has that gamey smell, then I suppose all you need to do is bleed it first. She paused, deliberately lowering her voice. So human, are you ready to be bled? Zhao Jiang was dumbfounded, both amazed by her erudition and silently praying for his own fate. Since you've seen through me, you'll drop the act. Honestly, I'm afraid of pain. Especially the kind where a knife cuts through flesh. Since I've kept you company in conversation, please grant me this request. Oh, I mean last wish. I really don't want to be flayed alive, nor bled, nor... Beep, 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 beep. An unknown alert sound suddenly came from the white-furred rat's body. Her expression shifted and she interrupted sharply. Stop. Let's put that aside for now. I'm going to ask you a very important question, and I expect an honest answer. Zhao Jiang, bewildered, stared straight at her and nodded. The white-furred rat suddenly raised a paw, pointing at the giant tree above. Was your awakening from the flower a coincidence? Just as Zhao Jiang was about to speak, she made a shushing gesture and continued, don't answer yet. This question decides whether you live or die. You have 1 minute. Think carefully before answering. Zhao Jiang paused, squinted, and swallowed back the words that had been about to leave his mouth. He didn't know if she was trying to trick him or had another purpose. As someone burdened with 2 illumined souls, if there really was a chance to survive, he felt he would even eat excrement. But reason told him the probability was negligible, practically zero. Put yourself in her shoes. If a rat with intelligence and the ability to speak human language stumbled upon a massive human secret, would humans let it leave alive? From the ingrained human perspective, the answer was undoubtedly no. 1 minute later, the white-furred rat spoke first. Just answer me yes or no. Zhao Jiang's eyes were resolute. No. The white-furred rat, excellent. I will now put you back in the flower. If the next time I come and I see you still conscious at the base of this tree, I will grant you the chance to live. Without further ado, she picked up Zhao Jiang like a chick, leaped vertically, and with a few sideways bounds placed him back into the flower. He had barely escaped from reinserting the unknown transparent tendril tubes into him. Wait a... Gurgle, gurgle. Gurgle. Zhao Jiang flailed his arms trying to speak, but she gave him no chance. A copious amount of thick, unknown liquid sprayed from the tendril tubes, forcing back the words rising in his throat. Dozens of seconds later. Human, I hold no hope, but I still look forward to seeing you alive at the base of this tree the next time I enter. Then your death sentence can be commuted to life imprisonment. The white-furred rat watched as Zhao Jiang gradually lost consciousness, sinking back into the spore-induced hypnosis of the fire coral, and murmured a single sentence to herself. Beep, 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 beep. Your Highness, the spore concentration is surging sharply. Please leave immediately. Okay. No. 8. I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear first? Zhao Jiang had just regained consciousness. Before even opening his eyes, he heard No. 2's familiar voice. He got up, stretched, and jumped vigorously twice, exclaiming, It's great to be whole. Let's hear the bad news first. You're in big trouble. It's temporarily beyond the capabilities of No. 1 and me. Zhao Jiang, I know. The moment I saw its true face, I roughly knew the score. A wise rat proficient in human language. Whoever encounters it is in for big trouble. No. 2 floated over and said solemnly, you've misunderstood. Zhao Jiang frowned, huh? No. 2 pointed to the sky. They are the real trouble I'm talking about. Zhao Jiang looked up, his gaze sharpening. Why are they still here? No. 1's low and magnetic voice rang out. They've been here all along. Not only have they been here, but they have also caused unknown effects on your dreams. Zhao Jiang stared at the huge, menacing red tentacles in the sky, his expression turning grim. What happened after I left? No. 1. They tried to invade and spy on your dreams, causing anomalies in your dreams and sudden blackouts several times. You can imagine the scene of a sudden power outage. Zhao Jiang looked utterly puzzled. What exactly are they? Why can they invade my dreams? No. 1 took a deep breath and exhaled, then said seriously, what they invade is likely not your dream. Zhao Jiang. No. 1. What they invade is most likely your DNA. Zhao Jiang. No. 1 turned to look at Zhao Jiang, his eyes deep and calm. Do you know what humans are made of? Zhao Jiang shook his head. No. 1. Matter, energy, and information. In humans, the thing closest to the essence of dreams is information, and the source of information lies in DNA. They can reach your dreams. The only possibility I can think of is that they are attempting to invade your DNA. Zhao Jiang's mouth fell open, his face full of disbelief. Previously, no. 2, and I didn't know its origin or what it really is. But after you returned to reality, the anomalies in the dream gave us the answer. A flash of insight struck Zhao Jiang's mind. That giant, pink, transparent, strange tree. No. 1, highly likely. Zhao Jiang found it incredible. How can such a terrifying creature exist in this world? It can directly invade other organisms' DNA. No. 1's voice was eerily calm. It is very likely a species that is evolving toward Zhao Jiang. No. 2's voice resumed. The bad news is done. Now let's talk about the good news. Based on No. 1's and my observations and discussions, there is a way that might allow you to carve out another possibility in this hopeless situation. What possibility? The possibility of continuing to live. Zhao Jiang, my legs are broken, do you know that? No. 2. Yes, we do. Zhao Jiang. Even if that huge strange tree doesn't kill me and the rat princess either has a brain cramp or takes pity and doesn't kill me, I can't possibly return alive to the human world. I know my own physical condition better than anyone. No. 2. Relying on yourself, of course, it's impossible. But with the help of the rat clan, it might not be. Zhao Jiang, what do you mean? No. 2. According to our speculation, the rat clan has probably been deceived by this creature that is still evolving toward transcendence, and they are unaware of its danger and terror. If they knew even a little, they would never do such a foolish thing, but would try every means to eradicate it. Zhao Jiang, how can you tell? No. 2. You've never seen a transcendent being, you don't know how terrifying they are. They are entirely different concepts from ordinary creatures. If conflict arises, they would absolutely deliver a dimensionality reduction strike against ordinary beings, just like driving the most advanced tank of the modern era to fight ancient infantry on Eonon. Zhao Jiang noticed the key point in their words. You said it is still evolving. How do you judge that? No. 1 took over. It can invade your DNA, yet it has not shown any hard offensive capabilities. Whether it is deliberately hiding its strength or wary of something, it indirectly indicates that its evolution is not yet complete. A fully evolved transcendent being has no weaknesses for ordinary species. Under natural conditions, only transcendent beings can counter transcendent beings. Zhao Jiang, can't high-tech weapons work? No. 2. They can invade your DNA, and do you think they wouldn't use human weapons? Or do you think they would give humans a chance to turn the tables? Zhao Jiang was stunned. No. 1. Don't use conventional thinking to understand them. That will only accelerate extinction. No. 2. Don't make such a sour face. At worst, you can come with us to wander through parallel dimensions searching for Zhao Jiang of the next world. Zhao Jiang's expression shifted, and he said in a deep voice, if I die, there's nothing left. I can't bear to leave this world. I think I can try a bit harder. No. 2. That's right. You must have the will to survive. Only then can miracles happen instead of giving up when trapped in a hopeless situation. That rat princess should be one of the leaders here. After you wake up again, use the secret of the giant tree to negotiate with her, thereby winning a sliver of hope for survival. However, in this process, you need to note one thing to avoid unexpected incidents. Don't negotiate in front of that giant tree. It likely possesses extremely high intelligence and hidden abilities and is monitoring you. Once you create the conditions for communication, as long as the rat princess promises not to kill you, it's okay, even if you stay with the rat clan. First, survive. Zhao Jiang. What if the rat princess is untrustworthy and goes back on her word? No. 2. You have no choice, you have to gamble. Gamble that her rat character is solid. Zhao Jiang. Another question, if I can't return to the human world, how can I develop technology? And how should I proceed from there? No. 2. Technology is not exclusive to humans. Based on no. 1's in my observations of the rat princess, they likely possess some degree of technology, but they avoid humans. You have to survive first before thinking about what's next. Secondly, the previous plan should be unworkable. Given the current situation, you don't have time for normal development. Zhao Jiang, then what should I do? No. 1's calm and magnetic voice came. In extraordinary times, take an unconventional path. What do you mean? If the rat clan's technology is decent, find a way to use their resources. Pretend to take one path, while secretly taking another, and escape off-world. Zhao Jiang, would they be willing to give me resources? That seems unlikely, right? No. 2. If they don't give, then find a way to induce them. If inducement can't bypass surveillance, then steal. If stealing still doesn't work, then we'll have to rob. Although we don't know how many transcendent species are evolving for you, it's entirely a race against death, competing for time. You must abandon all unnecessary principles of being human, develop wildly, become strong, and then escape Earth. Otherwise, there is only one outcome. Zhao Jiang sensed the gravity in the other's tone and couldn't help recalling his years of delivery life and the fragments of his time in Huijing City. He said resentfully, do I have to flee the Earth? Once a transcendent creature emerges, the entire planet becomes their hunting ground. Do you think ancient infantry could stand against modern tanks? Zhao Jiang fell silent. Number 2 said, on a small scale, it's about your life and death. On a larger scale, half the fate of human civilization rests on your shoulders. Zhao Jiang let out a deep breath, feeling immense pressure that was suffocating. Number 1 patted Zhao Jiang on the shoulder and said, what makes humans great is not only their ability to conquer and reshape nature with intelligence, but also their skill at turning the tables from desperate situations. The future is not yet decided, you still have a chance. Zhao Jiang clenched his fist, his gaze firm. Thank you for your comfort and encouragement. I know what I need to do. Number 1 said go. With that, he attacked Zhao Jiang without warning, again forcing him out of the dream. Your Highness, that human sample has awakened on its own again. Having just returned to the control room and not yet begun spore eradication, the rat princess paused, thinking she must have misheard. Is it the human I personally sent back to the coral flower? Yes, Your Highness. The rat princess' eyes narrowed as she murmured, how could this be? Your Highness, it seems this human has something inside him that counters the hypnotic effects of the fire coral spores. We need to change the plan and upgrade him to an advanced sample. Agreed. Zhao Jiang, fully conscious, carefully savored the intoxicating comfort before opening, gazing at the bizarre giant tree full of fantasy colors and the various creatures whose DNA it was invading. He felt a mix of emotions. If it weren't for number 1 and number 2, he figured he would never have known the terrifying truth beneath the beautiful exterior. Transcendent evolution. That was an evolution starting from life itself, comparable to the Industrial Revolution. Pulling out the tentacle-like tube from his mouth, Zhao Jiang carefully climbed down from the tree again. After great effort, Zhao Jiang finally reached the ground and lay there gasping for breath. Human, how did you... Before he could catch his breath for 5 seconds, the rat princess appeared in his sight. How did I do it? With so many people here, are you sure you want me to say it out loud? The rat princess looked puzzled. What do you mean by so many people? You're the only human here. Zhao Jiang pointed at the flowers on the giant tree and shouted, aren't they people? They're so conspicuous, can't you see them? The rat princess' voice turned cold. Really? Open your eyes and look carefully. Zhao Jiang shook his head, rubbed his eyes vigorously, and looked at the giant tree, then froze. After a few breaths, he propped himself up with his hands, looked her in the eye, and changed his tone. Fine, I admit my eyes deceived me, but do you think I'll tell you that easily? The rat princess asked, what do you want? Zhao Jiang licked his lips and put on a nonchalant expression. After careful consideration, I think no matter what you say, you'll never let me go in the end. Since it's death either way, why not die happy? The rat princess was surprised by the sudden change in his character and asked curiously, die happy? How do you want to die happy? Zhao Jiang said, since you can bring me here, you can definitely bring other humans as well. I don't ask for much. Bring me 10 high-quality human women. I want to experience the joy of a king before. The rat princess' gaze moved downward and she kindly reminded him, both your legs are broken. Even if I grant your wish, you probably won't have the strength to enjoy it. Zhao Jiang grew angry at this. My legs are broken, but the leg that governs pleasure and my neck are not broken. You understand? The rat princess stared at his angry expression without blinking, feeling something was off. I can grant your request, but it will take time. How long? At least a day. No, a day is too long, I can't wait. He'll give you 10 minutes at most. If I don't see 10 high-quality human women within 10 minutes, he'll take the information you want of the other world. By the way, let me kindly remind you, don't underestimate the resolve of a hopeless cripple to die. The rat princess said, It's impossible to bring you 10 high-quality human women within 10 minutes. We are not gods. Even kidnapping takes time. Where do you think you are? A high-end human club, where beautiful women come at the call of money. To tell you the truth, you are currently 30,000 meters underground. Even if 10 high-quality human women parachuted down from the surface immediately, they might not make it in 10 minutes. Zhao Jiang said, I don't care. I made my request. Whether you can fulfill it is your problem. The rat princess replied, we are curious about how you woke up on your own, but it's not a necessity. You are just one of our vast human experimental samples. You may have some uniqueness, but you are definitely not the only. If you think you can bargain with us using that little special value, I can only say you overestimate your importance. Zhao Jiang grinned at this. Is that so? Then go ahead and try. See if your vast human experimental samples can produce another me. The rat princess stared intently into Zhao Jiang's eyes. She noticed a subtle fluctuation in his gaze. After a moment, she suddenly realized something and said calmly, tell me what exactly do you want? Zhao Jiang shocked her with his words, I want you. The rat princess replied, we are different species with reproductive isolation. There can be no outcome. Zhao Jiang's eyes burned with passion. I don't want an outcome with you. I just want to experience the process. If your rat race rises one day at least, I will be the first rat knight in history. Beep, 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 beep. A strange alert sounded, and a voice from her kin came into the rat princess' ear. Your Highness, spore concentration is abnormal. Please leave Lab 0 immediately. Good, I understand. So you want to be a rat knight? Fine. I'll give you a chance. Let's see what you're capable of. Zhao Jiang grinned. Who's afraid? The rat princess pretended to take off her protective suit and asked casually here. Zhao Jiang flatly refused. Not here. The light isn't bright enough, and you have too much fur. I'm afraid I won't find the key point at the critical moment. Let's change to a place with sufficiently bright light. The rat princess' eyes lit up. Fine. I'll grant your wish. Let's see which is stronger, a rat knight or a human knight. Beep, 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 beep. Your Highness, the 0 specimen is acting abnormally. The spore concentration has exceeded the historical maximum. Please leave immediately. The rat princess glanced at the fire coral, which showed no surface change, but had an unfamiliar aura. She darted forward, grabbed Zhao Jiang, and turned to leave. Alas, humanity is in danger. The moment he was lifted, Zhao Jiang's heart was filled with mixed feelings. He knew she had understood his hint. Her reaction speed and intelligence were no less than that of a highly intelligent human. He didn't know how many rat princesses there were in the rat race. He only knew that once humans engaged in direct conflict with them, they would most likely suffer a disastrous defeat. Moreover, humans were in the open while they were in the shadows. Neither the timing nor the terrain favored humans. In addition, the strange tree evolving toward transcendence was even more terrifying. Once the entire species succeeded in evolving, humans would have no hope at all. Thump, 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 thump. With 5 giant black doors made of unknown material falling one after another, Zhao Jiang was successfully brought out of Lab 0 and stepped onto a black bridge that stretched endlessly. Both of them sat on round protrusions, one in front and one behind, and sped forward silently. 10 minutes later, the black bridge ended, and they entered a dark red tunnel of unknown nature. We have completely left the area of Lab 0. This is a crystal tunnel shielded from electromagnetic waves. If you have anything to say, you can say it now. The rat princess produced a helmet from somewhere and unceremoniously put it on Zhao Jiang's head. When he heard her words and looked up, the whole world changed. Thighs. Is you a? How about my human form? Does it qualify as a high-quality human female? Zhao Jiang thought inwardly. I truly deserve to die. At such a critical moment, my values actually follow my appearance, feeling a momentary flutter for a rat. I am indeed a vulgar mortal who hasn't escaped lowbrow tastes. Before finishing his self-reproach, another thought uncontrollably popped up. If only I could weld this helmet onto my head. How much do you really know about human culture? Let's set that aside for now. Tell me your true demand. Zhao Jiang went straight to the point. My only true demand is to live. You are a smart person. You should know this is impossible. Even if I don't kill you, you will never have the chance to return to human society. To you, that is no different from death. You didn't understand me. What I want is simply to live, not necessarily to return to human society. I may not be considered smart, but am not that naive either. The princess of the rat tribe realized with a confirming gaze, as long as your body exists, physically nothing else matters. Yes, as long as I can live, I can refrain from returning to human society. Upon hearing this, the princess of the rat tribe couldn't help but become interested. Oh, really? Zhao Jiang nodded. I can try to integrate into your rat society, even if I suffer discrimination and become an outcast. The princess of the rat tribe, are you sure a human like you can integrate into our society? Zhao Jiang, how would we know without trying? Leaving other matters aside, I could follow you and be an assistant just like now. Of course, that's if you need one. If you don't need me, you can send me to a place where I can be self-sufficient, and I will stubbornly cling to life. The princess of the rat tribe shook her head. You don't understand our rat world. It's not as easy as you imagine. Moreover, you are too weak. Once you lose protection, you might end up with no bones left. In your human world, our rat tribe is also part of the menu. Whenever you get hungry, nothing can stop the rampant rampage of the 8 major cuisines. If conditions are too primitive, eating raw isn't unheard of. Our rat society faces the same problem. Once starving, eating raw human flesh becomes an inevitable choice, and a good one. Due to differences in race and identity, no matter what I promise you now, the objective fact is that I cannot protect you forever. So, Zhao Jiang interrupted, I don't need you to protect me forever. Just give me time to heal my leg injuries so I can move independently. I can rely on myself. Seeing Zhao Jiang's utter seriousness, the princess of the rat tribe pondered for a moment and then changed her tone. I can consider your proposal, but you must first show some sincerity. Alright, if you want sincerity, he'll give you a big one. Listen carefully to what I'm about to say. With that, Zhao Jiang's voice dropped and turned serious. That huge strange tree you use for experiments is far from as harmless as it appears. If things go wrong, you might suffer disaster, or even be destroyed by it. Note, I'm not just referring to your pitch-black laboratory, but your entire rat tribe. The princess of the rat tribe had expected him to say something, but she didn't expect him to start like this. She couldn't help feeling some aversion. I admit you humans are clever. In negotiations, you always like to exaggerate threats to achieve some goal, but I'm not falling for that. I don't know what you experienced during your slumber, but I firmly believe that our understanding of Subject Zero far exceeds your imagination. Your words sound utterly absurd and laughable to me, like a human child saying the cake in his hand threatens the life of his parents. In any case, I also ask you to note this: the reason you are standing here alive is that I need your honesty, not your rhetoric. Misunderstood for no reason, Zhao Jiang was not angry. He asked bluntly, you say your understanding of it far exceeds my imagination. Then tell me, why does it wrap those different creatures in flowers and supply them with nutrients to keep them alive? Secondly, every species is unique, not only in body structure, living environment, dietary habits, and many other things. It uses nothing but an unknown tentacle-like conduit to keep all species alive and even make them addicted. How does it manage that? How does it know what nutrients I need as a human, their amounts, even vitamins, trace elements, and so on? Can you give a reasonable explanation? The princess of the rat tribe, these are the secrets of our research. I can't tell you. Zhao Jiang gave a self-deprecating smile. My life is in your hands. What are you afraid of? The princess of the rat tribe said seriously, better safe than sorry. Seeing she was serious, Zhao Jiang felt both speechless and proud of his human identity. After all the wisdom she spoke of, all originated from humans. After a moment, Zhao Jiang decided not to beat around the bush. He asked directly in a calm tone, do you know that it can directly invade the DNA of other organisms? What? Isn't your understanding of it far beyond my imagination? Why are you so shocked to hear this? Don't tell me you haven't discovered this. What evidence do you have to prove it can directly invade other organisms? I have no substantial evidence, but I know what I'm saying is the truth. As for whether you believe it, that's not up to me. Anyway, for me, if the worst possibility happens, only I will die. For you, it might not be the case. Likely Does this have any necessary connection to your ability to actively awaken from its spore hypnosis? Zhao Jiang saw that she quickly regained composure and thought to himself, good mental resilience. Faced with the pressing question, he did not answer immediately, but fell into thought. He was thinking how to fabricate a suitable story based on the existing information, one that would make the other party believe in the danger of that strange tree, thus prompting verification and risk transfer while minimizing his own risk. Seeing Zhao Jiang silent, the princess of the rat tribe did not urge him. She pondered the truthfulness of his words while recalling some fragmented memories, trying to connect them. If the fire coral in Subject Zero's lab truly has the ability to directly invade other organisms' DNA, then it must possess intelligence. If it has been intelligent since it was discovered, then were those previous events still coincidences? If not coincidences, then, without doubt, all previous research on it would be fundamentally overturned, leading to immensely huge consequences. However, this possibility is extremely low, even coming from this human who defies common sense. While the princess of the rat tribe was trying to connect the pieces in her mind, Zhao Jiang spoke. I am a person with an innate defect. I was born without the ability to dream. It's not that I don't want to, but I can't. Do you know why? Why? According to the feedback from the Research Institute, it seems I have developed a condition known as dream deficiency syndrome. The root cause of this illness lies in a sleep gene on my DNA. In ordinary people, that gene remains active, allowing them to dream. However, my gene is the exact opposite. It has been dormant since birth, rendering me incapable of dreaming. Before you sent me into the blossoms of that bizarre tree, I had never known what a dream truly was, nor the sensation of dreaming. Only through hearsay or written descriptions could I imagine it. But now I know. Not only do I know, but I have experienced the rapid succession of dreams, infinite division, and visual collapse. Such a wondrous and beautiful experience might be heaven's compensation for my earlier life. The rat princess listened intently, but grew more perplexed, interrupting, "What does all this have to do with the question I—" Zhao Jiang glanced at her, shifted his tone, and continued, "But there is another possibility." The rat princess understood the meaning in his eyes, remained silent, knowing he would elaborate step by step. "I remember when I first received that research feedback, my mood was exceptionally low. I had fantasized about countless possibilities, but they all shared one commonality: that I would eventually be able to dream that the source of the illness was not too deep and could be cured. Yet I vividly recall the researcher who delivered the feedback report saying that unless human technology breakthroughs to the level of live's information, able to touch genes like touching objects, there would be no hope of curing my condition. With current technology, we can only detect it, not treat it. Even those so-called biomolecular needles proved utterly ineffective. Without a miracle, I would never dream in this lifetime. Before falling into this place, everything I experienced was indeed like that. I knew dreams existed, but had never stepped into them. But now I have not only stepped into them, but done so twice." Zhao Jiang suddenly raised his voice to the rat princess. "Do you know what this means?" Sensing something awry, the rat princess curiously echoed, "What does it mean?" Zhao Jiang paused slightly, lifted his head, met her eyes, and spoke slowly. "Is it possible that my dreams were caused by that gigantic strange tree invading my DNA?" The moment the words fell, the rat princess, as if struck by a thought, changed expression drastically. "You seem to have recalled something. Judging by your reaction, even in your past research it must have shown flaws, but you—" "Initially I didn't think in that direction either. I thought it was mere coincidence and felt quite pleased. Even if the interior of the flower was confining and oppressive, I could still accept it. It wasn't until the second forced slumber, when I again experienced those fragmented dream shards and chaotic temporal dances, that I realized something was wrong. As a human born with a congenital defect, though I had never dreamt before, that didn't hinder me from having some understanding. Normal dreams are absolutely different from mine. No one's dreams could be so bizarre, so unpredictable, like a programmer frantically typing while deciphering some code. I believe in coincidences, but not in inevitable ones. If the first dream was a coincidence, then the second must have a deeper cause. The researchers said the root of my illness lies in the genes. Now that the illness has suddenly healed, I can think of no other explanation except that the problematic gene was touched or awakened. Though this possibility is absurd and ridiculous, what if it were true? Don't you think so? Besides, those rapidly shifting dreams feel very strange, like a slideshow played by someone who knows me intimately yet is eager to learn everything about me. If you had experienced it, I believe you'd arrive at the same suspicion and intuition. Earlier I asked you, how can it sustain the life functions of all organisms, making them feel comfortable and warm, relying only on an unknown tentacle conduit? You said it was the secret of your research and refused to answer. Now if you follow my suspicion, you'll find that what I said might be true. Without substantial evidence, we can reason back. For instance, because it can directly invade the DNA of other organisms, it can fathom their genetic secrets, and genetic secrets essentially contain all information about a species. Once it learns this information, the questions I raised earlier, like different species, food requirements, nutritional compositions, appear utterly naive. Although I don't know where the nutrients it supplies come from, I can deduce one thing: those substances must be temporarily customized according to the needs of different organisms. As for the specific method of preparation, that is beyond my knowledge. Putting myself in its place, if I were it, the nutrients I need would not be a single food or category in nature, but the entirety of nature itself. In other words, it can consume anything without discrimination. Flowers, trees, various, or even living organisms. They can be devoured, decomposed, and then recombined into various nutrients as needed. Moreover, because it can decipher the genes of other species, given the right conditions, it could cultivate or replicate any organism without anyone noticing. The rat princess listened attentively. At this point, she looked at Zhao Jiang with a gaze that abruptly changed, as if she had discovered a new world. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Zhao Jiang's throat was dry from speaking, and he wanted to rest, but noticed the rat princess's strange expression. "You're right." "Right about what?" The rat princess said solemnly. "Your reverse reasoning is correct." Zhao Jiang scratched his head, somewhat surprised. "Really?" The rat princess's voice was earnest and serious, but also urgent. "Not only are you right, but you've solved a great puzzle for me. Or rather, helped me see through a deception." "What puzzle? What deception?" "The rat princess, I don't have time to explain now. I need to verify something. If it turns out true, congratulations. I will agree to your request on my own authority." With that, she turned to leave. "Wait, what about me? I'm a cripple now." The mouse princess paused in her steps, glanced back at him, and said, "Rest assured, this place is extremely safe. Without my permission, not even a fly can enter. Nothing here poses a threat to your life." Zhao Jiang expressed doubt. "Really? Don't joke about my life." Before he could finish, the mouse princess had already turned around, moving swiftly, and walked away, leaving Zhao Jiang with an anxious silhouette. Phew! Watching her figure disappear into the distance, Zhao Jiang let out a silent breath. It seemed his life was temporarily safe. Although it wasn't due to his own efforts, the feeling of having survived a close call was truly moving. Having gone through so many bizarre experiences, looking back, he was just an ordinary person after all. Indeed, the magnificent scenery of life is often forced upon us. Human, you're awake? Where is this? How did I get here? Who are you? What are you going to do to me? Zhao Jiang had just opened his eyes when he realized something was wrong. He had somehow arrived in a pure white room, lying in an unfamiliar apparatus. Outside, 7 or 8 large gray rats dressed in strange clothing of varying heights, walking upright, were gathered around watching him. Human, don't be afraid. We won't hurt you. The nearest gray-furred rat spoke, its voice resembling that of a kind, elderly human. Zhao Jiang looked around, his eyes filled with vigilance. It was Her Highness the Princess who sent you here. She ordered us to heal your leg injury. Seeing Zhao Jiang's tension, the gray-furred rat revealed the reason without any preamble. Her Highness the Princess. Which princess? Bai Zhao Yue, Her Highness the Princess. Upon hearing this, Zhao Jiang had an inkling, but remained uneasy. The gray-furred rat, really? Zhao Jiang. Then tell me, what does Princess Bai Zhao Yue look like? Height, clothing, voice tone. If you get it right, I'll believe you. The gray-furred rat. Human, before answering, I need to correct you on one point. Correct me on what? Her Highness' name is Bai Zhao Yue, not Bai Zhao Yue. Zhao Jiang. The gray-furred rat said earnestly. You need to pause after Bai to address Her Highness correct. Zhao Jiang, what's the difference? The gray-furred rat, a huge difference. Dazhou, don't bother explaining. This human doesn't understand our rat culture. He definitely won't get it. He doesn't even know about identity colors or the 4 royal surnames. Explaining to him is like casting pearls before swine. Another gray-furred rat nearby grew impatient with Zhao Jiang's endless questions. Identity colors. 4 royal surnames. What are these things? Though the other's attitude was poor, reason told Zhao Jiang that what they said might be true. Xiaowang, mind your attitude. Have you already forgotten Her Highness' instructions? Just as Zhao Jiang was curious about rat culture, Shu Dazhou, who had first spoken to him, suddenly turned serious and scolded Shu Xiaowang. Human, do you want to receive treatment as soon as possible, or would you like to learn about our rat culture first? After scolding Shu Xiaowang, Shu Dazhou became kind again. Hearing this, Zhao Jiang couldn't help but look at his legs and asked curiously, my legs are both broken. Are you confident you can heal them? Shu Dazhou, as long as you cooperate, the chance of you standing up and running as before is over 90%. Zhao Jiang's mouth dropped open. Really? Elder Dazhou, you're not joking, are you? My legs are quite severely broken. Even with current human technology, completely healing them is a considerable challenge. Humans look down on rats. Xiaowang, shut up. If you go too far, get out. Shu Dazhou, seeing Shu Xiaowang still not restrained after the warning, directly flared up. Shu Xiaowang clenched his claws, shot a fierce glare at Zhao Jiang, and chose silence. Xiaowang, there are things I didn't want to say, but matters concerning Her Highness leave no room for carelessness. This human was personally delivered to me by Her Highness. I warn you, if any harm befalls him here, I will send you directly to the upper 9 cities. When that happens, don't blame me for disregarding our master-disciple bond. And the rest of you, I've turned a blind eye to your bickering, but if this human suffers from your conflicts, don't blame me for being unkind. Dazhou, rest assured I will treat him as a fellow clan member. I won't make you lose face before Her Highness. A small gray-furred rat seized the opportunity to quickly pledge. Dazhou, rest assured. As a healer, I will treat him equally, whether rat or human. Dazhou, after the treatment, I am willing to stay and take care of this human. If anything goes wrong, you can hold me accountable. Xiaowang, what are you waiting for? Apologize to Dazhou and to this human now. That's right, apologize quickly to Dazhou and this human, or when Her Highness takes offense, you'll be in trouble. Xiaowang, I usually don't say anything, but what kind of occasion is this? How can you be so willful? Apologize to this human now and beg his forgiveness. With the first one taking the lead, the other rats also reacted. Being suddenly ganged up on was unexpected for Shu Xiaowang. Feeling the malicious gazes of the crowd, he found himself in an embarrassing position. He couldn't understand. Usually in private, everyone was an angry young rat filled with intense hatred and malice toward humans, eager to eat their flesh and drink their blood. Today, a real human was right before them, completely powerless. Why were they turning their hostility on him instead? Even if this human was sent by Her Highness and couldn't be touched, a few verbal attacks shouldn't hurt, right? Where exactly did things go wrong? Everyone, I appreciate your kindness, but there's no need for an apology. After all, what he said is true. I really don't understand rat culture. Moreover, I should apologize for my attitude earlier. You kindly offered to heal me, yet I doubted your intentions. That was rather petty of me to suspect honorable people. I've come to realize that if you truly meant harm, you wouldn't have woken me or asked for my opinion. You'd have simply acted. After all, I'm utterly powerless to resist. Elder Dazhou, I withdraw those laughable questions and won't ask further. Please proceed with the treatment. Just tell me what to do, and I'll cooperate fully. As long as you can make me stand again, I'll be in your debt. Shu Dazhou was somewhat surprised, but very pleased with Zhao Jiang's attitude. He immediately beamed. Good, very good. truly worthy of someone sent by Her Highness. Your eloquence far surpasses mine. Elder Dajo flatters me. I'm only good at talking you. I have no real skills. You are different. You are a great physician with superb medical skills and noble ethics, specializing in snatching lives from the king of hell. I am in no way comparable to you. Ha 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 ha. For the first time, Shu Dajo experienced flattery from a human. Though he knew the other was exaggerating, he couldn't help but burst into hearty laughter. This feeling was simply too wonderful. The other gray-furred giant rats exchanged bewildered glances, utterly astonished by Zhao Jiang's flattering speech. It overturned their worldview, completely contrasting with the human described in their textbooks. In the textbooks, humans as the rulers of the Earth's surface were portrayed as cruel, arrogant, and insufferable. They were not only brutal toward their own kind, but also cold and contemptuous toward other species, as if none but themselves deserved to inhabit this planet. A human would slay his own kin for a woman, betray his family for money, or even wage war to annihilate an entire nation for resources. Every act of humanity revealed their savagery, arrogance, and violence. Yet this human delivered by Her Highness the Princess was entirely different. Aside from his initial suspicion and nervousness, he displayed nothing akin to the descriptions in the books. He even apologized for his earlier suspicion and anxiety. This was very unhuman. If they put themselves in his shoes, they themselves would find it difficult to do the same. Human, rest assured, I will heal your legs. Rat Dajo gently patted Zhao Jiang's shoulder, his confidence surging under the influence of emotion, and his tone instinctively turned affirmative. Senior Dajo, I believe in you. It is my honor to receive your treatment. Come, put on this helmet. Soon some questions for intelligence tests, reaction tests, and cognitive assessments will appear inside. If you think an answer is correct, blink once. If not, blink twice. After finishing the questions, a tube will appear. Open your mouth, hold it, and blow forcefully 3 times. After blowing, the tube will retract and leave your mouth. Then a second larger tube will appear. Open your mouth again, hold it, and some liquid will enter your mouth. Swallow it all. During this process, various things will touch different parts of your body, which might feel strange. You must endure, try not to touch them, and do not resist. They are used to measure your BOTUS data. These data are crucial next. The more accurate they are, the better our chance to perfectly restore your broken legs. Got it. Senior Dajo, could you repeat that? There are a few points I'm not quite clear on. Of course, first. Then. Finally. Remember now? Want me to go over it again? Zhao Jiang. No need, thank you, Senior Dajo. From now on, my legs are in your hands. Xiao Wang, go activate the life spectrum instrument, change the main entity to human life spectrum, then connect it to the fragment resonance system. Monitor the spectrum changes and vibration anomalies at all times. If any overflow data appears, stop immediately and share it into the biointelligent blade system. Rad Xiaowang's demeanor shifted sharply. Yes, Dajo. Xiao Wu, go check the operation of the biointelligent blade system. If there's no issue, clear all main programs, then manually add a linked main program, lowering the blade's priority by 1 level to balance with the life spectrum instrument and the 4D structural imaging system. Yes, Dajo. Xiao Zheng, you're responsible for monitoring the 4D structural imaging system. Once the human body structure is successfully analyzed, immediately initiate the reconstruction procedure. Ensure the error is within the range of 2 parts per 100 million. Good. Xiao Feng, go next door and monitor the entire biological chamber's temperature, humidity, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen levels, and so on. The environmental conditions humans require differ from ours. I've already set the parameters, but change is everywhere. Keep an eye on the range for human survival conditions. If any value exceeds the range, stop immediately. Understood, Dajo. As the orderly assignments from Rat Clan's Dajo came to an end, an inexplicable anticipation welled up in Zhao Jiang's once anxious heart. He had heard everything just now. Though he didn't understand it, instinct told him that they were professionals, likely even more professional than humans. He had no idea how they managed it, but that didn't matter. What mattered was that they might be able to heal his broken legs and restore his ability to run. In this faint anticipation, Zhao Jiang felt as though the natural barrier between species had vanished. Human, don't be nervous. Try to relax and keep your mind calm. Zhao Jiang, I'm not nervous. No, you are. The data don't lie. Your head's thermal radiation, electron activity, blood flow, speed, respiratory rate, breathing depth, and even pore contraction intensity are all in abnormal states. Zhao Jiang, I know achieving perfect calm is difficult for you. That's fine. Just try to empty your mind as much as possible. Leave the rest to us. Zhao Jiang, all right, I'll do my best. As the treatment commenced, Zhao Jiang experienced a series of sensations he had never felt before. One moment it itched, then tingled, then went numb. The next it felt warm, then cold, then swollen, then hot. An instant earlier it seemed as if dozens of ants were crawling over the wound, and the next the wound felt stuffed with ice cubes. His entire body continuously sent various signals to his brain, giving Zhao Jiang the vivid impression of neural chaos. Words seemed pale and powerless under such sensations. He wanted to describe it, but utterly failed. After an unknown period, Zhao Jiang switched to another tube in his mouth, and then some tasteless viscous liquid flowed in. Following the earlier instructions, he swallowed it, and inexplicably his connection to reality severed, and he appeared in the dream world. Number 2. Number 8. You won the bet. The Rat Clan princess truly has rat integrity. She didn't burn the bridge after crossing it. Zhao Jiang nodded. Seems so for now. Huh, where's number 1? Why is he gone? Number 2. He went back to his world. He said he wanted to be alone and think about something. Zhao Jiang, his world. Number 2. Below the electrolytic water rest chamber is his world. You haven't been there yet. Zhao Jiang, can I go? Number 2. He originally planned to invite you down, but after hearing that you had already visited my world, he changed his mind. He said he would invite you after you get out of trouble. Zhao Jiang frowned. Did he tell you why? Number 2. He did it for your sake. You should believe him on that. He didn't say it explicitly, but I can roughly guess. Your situation is harder than all of ours before you. He didn't say it explicitly, but I can roughly guess. Your situation is harder than all of ours before you, at least at the start. As he often told me, first carve the mold, then copy the pattern. Only by living can there be hope. No matter how harsh or despairing the objective environment, one should never forget the source of hope. Otherwise, it would only put the cart before the horse and reverse the natural order. Zhao Jiang suddenly realized, I see. He truly cares. Number 2. If not for the circumstances, I really wouldn't want to put so much pressure on you. Sometimes watching you in those visions, I can't help but feel a mix of emotions. When we watch you struggling bit by bit to climb down that strange tree, your fingers bleeding from the strain, yet unable to relax for a moment, furrowing your brow, gritting your teeth, and using all your strength to steady your body, we wish we could take your place. After all, for us who have already lost the entire world, pain is merely a nostalgic experience. Zhao Jiang pursed his lips and said sincerely, thank you. I appreciate your kindness. But this is my world. No matter what pain I endure, I will not give up the conviction to save it. It carries my homeland, my friends, everything I have. Only by saving it can the things I care about be passed down and continued. Though I'm just an ordinary delivery driver, since I've encountered this, there's no reason to back down. Even if I die on this arduous path one day, I'll have no regrets. Number 2 looked at Zhao Jiang with surprise, a bit taken aback. Zhao Jiang continued, actually, after Dr. Zhou confirmed that I don't have delusions, I already had some mental preparation and awareness. Even without knowing what lies ahead, there's a voice inside. Where the heart yearns, I will forge ahead. The scene of corpses blotting out the sky remains vivid in my memory. Though it only appeared in a dream, I feel it's not that simple. Sometimes I even wonder whether this world has a spirit, whether heaven and earth have a will. If they do, can they perceive the future and know what is about to happen? If they can see the future and witness its tragedies, would they experience emotional fluctuations? Would they choose to accept the predetermined course, observe quietly, or decide to interfere with the trajectory of fate and attempt to change it through some means? Suppose, I'm just saying suppose, in the future the whole world really does face an apocalypse, countless tragedies unfold, myriads of beings perish in disaster exactly as in my dream. Then before the apocalypse arrives, I have foreseen that scene. What does that mean? Coincidence? Or a fleeting glimpse of a fragment of time? Or perhaps, this is actually a message from this world to all living beings, but the way to receive it is harsh and peculiar, and I just happen to meet the criteria, thus gaining a glimpse of the celestial secrets. Number 2 took over. All things have spirit. If the will of heaven and earth is also considered a special kind of being, then it's only natural for it to possess a will. However, in what form it exists or how different its consciousness is from other beings, that is beyond our knowledge. What you said could well be a new direction for scientific research. If there is still a future, we can focus on studying it, exploring another form of life and nature from the perspective of information beings. Since this world can have digital life, AI, the existence of the spirit of heaven and earth doesn't seem bad either. The difference is that one is artificially produced while the other is wild from nature. Zhao Jiang, your analogy is very interesting and quite novel. If digital life is artificially created, then the spirit of heaven and earth is indeed created by nature. One artificial, one wild. Quite interesting. Speaking of wild, I suddenly think of Yunnan's mushrooms: chicken bottle mushroom, ox liver mushroom, greenhead mushroom, dried bark mushroom, chicken oil mushroom, tiger palm mushroom, morel milk mushroom, big red mushroom, ant nest mushroom. Forget it, I won't go on. The more I talk, the hungrier I get. Number 2 asked curiously, have you lived in Yunnan? Zhao Jiang, you're a parallel version of me. Haven't you lived there? That can't be. After the college entrance exam, our deskmate, Zhong Yue, invited us to her home to eat mushrooms. You didn't refuse, did you? Number 2's mouth twitched. You actually went. Zhao Jiang, so you really didn't go? Number 2, I thought she was joking. Besides, I heard her family wasn't well off. I didn't want to burden her, so I agreed verbally, but never went. Zhao Jiang frowned slightly. Strange, did you need to hear that her family was poor? Didn't she tell me? Us. No, the divergence between our worlds must have started before high school. Let me ask you something from our childhood. Let's compare the details of an event and then determine the approximate time when our fates began to diverge. Go ahead, Zhao Jiang. Do you still remember that incident from when we were 6 coming home from school? Number 2. Of course I remember. Even though my world has been destroyed, that incident has never faded. Zhao Jiang nodded in agreement. That kind of thing indeed cannot fade. Number 2, you go first. If there's a difference, he'll point it out. Zhao Jiang. I remember I was only 6, had just started kindergarten, and had no concept of many things. That afternoon the teacher let us out early because of something. I planned to go home early and share the AOE I learned that day with my parents. But as soon as I reached the door, I heard my mother's agonizing cries. Peeking through the door crack, I was terrified. Without even putting down my backpack, I ran, crying, to the crowded area in the village to ask for help. A dozen or so adults were gathered there, men and women. Number 2 suddenly interrupted. That wasn't all, was it? I remember there were also a few kids who had just come home from school. Zhao Jiang were there. Number 2. Yes. Zhu Wei Obor Fan Xiaoyan, they were all there. Zhao Jiang. Didn't they go catching tadpoles together on the way? Number 2 shook his head in the mirror. In my memory, no one suggested catching tadpoles. Zhao Jiang, strange. I remember it was Liang Fa who suggested it. He mocked me for having big eyes and a pointed head looking like a frog. He said my son was a tadpole and wanted to take them to catch my son, so they all went along. Number 2. In my memory, Liang Fa didn't mock me, so that didn't happen. We all went back together. Zhao Jiang frowned. It seems many things had already diverged earlier than that. Number 2 nodded. Yes, go on. Zhao Jiang. Those adults seemed to be chatting cheerfully. Before I even reached them from quite a distance, I could hear their hearty laughter. When they saw me crying and panicked, they all stopped at once with concern and asked softly what had happened. Number 2 suddenly grinned and took over. You cried and said your father was beating your mother, tying her to the table and beating her until she wept and screamed. Because her hands and feet were bound to the table, she couldn't break free and the table creaked incessantly. She looked utterly miserable. You anxiously begged them to go save your mother, or else she would be beaten to death by your father. Most people were still confused when they heard this. Only Uncle Zhang suddenly asked you a question. He asked you if your father had beaten all your mother's clothes off. Zhao Jiang couldn't listen anymore and interrupted. Stop. Could you please stop narrating in the third person? It makes me feel so awkward, as if they are only my parents, not yours as well. The you speak of is me, and also yourself, isn't it? Why make it so complicated? Just use I directly. No. 2 made a humorous expression. I'm just afraid of embarrassment. That kind of embarrassment, I really don't want to experience a second time. Zhao Jiang was speechless. Do you think I want it? No. 2. I know you don't either, but I feel your embarrassment isn't as great as mine. At least the impact later wasn't as exaggerated as mine. Zhao Jiang thoughtfully said, all right. In my world, there are only a bunch of adults. Although there are quite a few, it's still acceptable. After all, adults are more sensible and know what to say and what not to say. Your world is different. There are also a group of little friends. At that age, when they encounter something new, they definitely can't hold their tongues, just like we were back then. I really wonder how they will recall that incident when they grow up and how they will tease you. At this note, 2's expression immediately turned awkward, like he was constipated. At the same time, a thought suddenly popped into his mind. The destruction of the world doesn't seem to have no benefits at all. Seeing this, Zhao Jiang couldn't help laughing loudly. Ha 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 ha. After a while, he had laughed enough and met no. 2's eyes. Do you want to continue with the rest? No. 2 rolled his eyes. What do you think? Zhao Jiang understood instantly. I feel we've covered enough here. I really don't want to recall that scene anymore. It's too awkward, too suffocating. Uncle Zhang was also mean, asking a naive child in front of so many people. No. 2 coughed tactically. Ahem, alright, let's stop here. If we go on, it won't be just one person's embarrassment. Zhao Jiang. Haha, let's get back to the mushrooms. The taste of wild mushrooms is truly delicious. It's a pity you've never tasted them. No. 2 suddenly turned his head. No. 1, you're out. The situation is urgent, time is limited. I've compiled some applicable biotechnology. No. 8. Come over and I'll explain it to you in detail. You don't need to fully understand, just grasp the key points, and then find people or rats with relevant abilities to execute. I've already assessed the situation of the rat tribe. Although there are many limitations, they are still a good choice. If humans haven't concealed their technology based solely on known information, their technology might be superior to humans. From this perspective, there is no difference between leveraging their power and leveraging human power. It might even be better. Of course, the resistance you'll face will definitely be greater, but I believe in you. Thinking about himself, not only did No. 1 specially compile technology for him, but at this moment, he still didn't forget to acknowledge him. Zhao Jiang was deeply touched, and his eyes became determined. No. 1, rest assured. No matter what difficulties I encounter next, I won't give up, and I won't let my mindset collapse. Your world was destroyed, and you didn't give up. My world still exists, so how could I have the right to retreat? Whatever plans or arrangements you have just instruct me, I will do my best to execute them well. No. 1. Come, let me first explain this biological heat-cold exchange technology. Zhao Jiang walked over quite curious. What is biological heat-cold exchange technology? A biotechnology that uses biological systems to achieve cold and heat cycling. Although you are alive now, to a large extent your life is not your own. This refers not only to the threat from the rat tribe and the organisms evolving toward transcendence, but also the threat from the environment. Zhao Jiang frowned, puzzled. Environmental threat? How so? No. 1. Do you know how deep underground you are right now? Zhao Jiang recalled the rat princess said it's about 30,000 meters underground. I'm not sure exactly since I haven't been out to sea. No. 1. With such technology and a secret experimental site being 30,000 meters underground should be true. Humans are still the rulers of the earth. If the rat tribe wants to develop in secret, they will definitely try to avoid human detection. Moreover, even if humans discover them with current human technology, it would probably be very difficult for them to come down and do anything. Even if there were means to come down, the rat tribe would likely have corresponding defenses. Unlike your previous life on the surface, the underground living environment is much harsher. This is related to Earth's own structure. Taking the surface as a reference, for every 100 meters descended, the temperature rises by an average of about 2 degrees. Different regions and terrains have slight variations, but not much. According to this standard, even if the surface temperature is 0 degrees now, our location is at least 600 degrees. If we account for special geology and environmental errors and subtract 300 degrees, it's still 300 degrees. In other words, we are in an environment ranging from 300 to 600 degrees. Under these conditions, if you are exposed to the environment, I don't need to tell you what will happen, do I? Zhao Jiang was shocked. 300. 600 degrees. This is too exaggerated. No. 1. Whether it's exaggerated or not is not important. What's important is that as long as the rat princess wasn't lying, this is the real environment you face. Although I don't know what technology they use to overcome this harsh environment, you cannot entrust your life to their technology. This biological heat-cold exchange technology was invented and perfected by a genius biologist over 10 years of painstaking effort. As long as you can realize it, even if you leave the rat tribe, you can survive in such an environment. Upon hearing that it was the fruit of a genius biologist's 10-year painstaking effort, Zhao Jiang immediately felt uncertain. Is it difficult to realize? Can I do it? No. 1. What is 987.6543 multiplied by 345.6789? Zhao Jiang was stunned, a bit confused, then shook his head. I don't know. No. 1. Do you think this calculation is difficult? Zhao Jiang, difficult? No. 1 suddenly took out a steel bar and wrote a string of numbers on the ground. 34141125200 Can you read it? Zhao Jiang, yes. No. 1. Alright, then later I will ask you the same calculation again, and you just read out this string of numbers. Can you do it? Zhao Jiang was even more confused, not knowing what the other was up to, but still nodded instinctively. No. 1. What is 987.6543 multiplied by 345.6789? Zhao Jiang, 34141125200 No. 1. Very good. Congratulations, you have given the correct answer to this calculation. No. 2. Watching anxiously from the side, explained. No. 8. Haven't you figured it out yet? No. 1 is telling you in this way, no matter how difficult or unimaginable something seems in your perception, as long as we provide the answer, it holds no difficulty. All you need to do is read out the answer or write it down. Similarly, the same applies to technology. No matter what technology it is, as long as we offer it, it means we have already conquered it. You just need to learn to use it. Do you understand? Zhao Jiang was genuinely stunned, murmuring, can it really be done like this? No. 2. Otherwise, how do you think the saying standing on the shoulders of giants came about? No. 1 added, when an era develops to a certain extent, giants become mere symbols. What later generations need to do is not to prove themselves superior to such symbols or to outshine them, but to learn how to use these symbols. In other words, you don't need to be stronger than the giant nor to replace him, you just need to stand on his shoulders and be taller than him. Zhao Jiang. No. 1. The difficulty of this technology lies not in how to achieve it, but in creating a genius closed loop and cyclical structure. Fortunately, these problems have already been solved for you. After you return to reality, all you need to do is follow the steps I've told you and produce it bit by bit. In this process, you must leverage the labor, productivity, and resources of the rat clan. This may be the more difficult part for you. Your current understanding of the rat clan is limited, and I cannot judge their specific situation based on the anomalies, so I cannot give you better advice. In the coming time, you need to simultaneously understand the culture, social structure, and production structure of the rat clan while recruiting their talents to serve your purposes. As long as you successfully secure labor productivity and sufficient resources, I have enough giants here for you to step on. No. 3 no. 4 no. 5 no. 6 and no. 7 haven't logged into your world yet. Once they appear, even if the transcendent species fully evolves, we have confidence that you can contend with them, or even surpass them. Our 7 worlds may have been destroyed, but we ourselves have never admitted defeat. As the representative of the 8th worlds, Zhao Jiang, I hope you can also possess this spirit, to be destroyed but never defeated. Hearing this, Zhao Jiang felt a scorching energy spreading through his body for some reason. He couldn't help clenching his fists. No. 1. The key points of biothermal technology are covered. Next we'll talk about pioneer technology. Zhao Jiang, what is a pioneer? No. 1. Pioneer is our collective term for bryophytes. Zhao Jiang, bryophytes. Is it the moss I know? No. 1 explained. Yes, it is the moss you know. Bryophytes are the second largest group in the plant kingdom. They can survive in various harsh environments and have extremely strong vitality. Even if buried under the Antarctic ice for thousands of years, they can still revive and grow. Not only that, but their adaptability is also remarkable. In my world, after the extinction of most other plants and animals, they became the dominant plants in the underground world. They not only provided us with important food, but also played a crucial ecological role. Once you master pioneer technology, no matter what happens to the surface world or how it deteriorates, even if the sun goes out, you can still survive for at least 20 years. And this time is enough for you to change your fate. Pioneer technology is a general term for a large category of techniques. It has many small branches. These branches may seem inexplicable and abstract, but they are actually of great use. Missing any one will lead to serious consequences. Therefore, you must memorize and thoroughly understand the entire technology. He went back to reality. No. 1 had been focusing on explaining the key points of pioneer technology to Zhao Jiang when the latter suddenly vanished. No. 2. How much do you think he can remember? I haven't thought about that. In my view, as long as he is willing to work hard to change, whatever he remembers is a full score. I see. Rather than a momentary outstanding performance, you value his attitude toward the future. No. 1. His starting point may be poor, but his growth is not inferior to others. Most importantly, I see some rare qualities in him, such as courage. Such things cannot be replaced by knowledge or experience. No. 2 became interested upon hearing this. If an earthquake happened, would you risk everything to save people? No. 1 pondered for a moment and answered honestly, I cannot bring myself to save people at all costs. My rationality would correct my emotional impulses. I might go to save people, but only if I ensure my own safety and have the capability. I cannot learn that behavior. No. 2 suddenly laughed, whether in self-mockery or having thought of something. To be honest, although we are both called Zhao Jiang, we are quite different. He is an ordinary man with reckless courage. You are a genius of near-absolute rationality, and I am a hypocritical and smooth, refined egoist. If I were him, I wouldn't risk everything to save people. When the earthquake happened, I wouldn't even pull Dr. Zhou, I would just flee as fast as possible. No. 1 suddenly looked over. So when Zhong Yue invited you to her house for mushrooms, your true thought wasn't worry about causing her trouble, but fear that she would bring you trouble, right? No. 2. Did you hear my conversation with No? 8. No. 2. Suddenly I have a strong desire. No. 1. What desire? No. 2 said seriously, I desire that No. 8 can truly defy fate. A trace of complexity appeared on No. 1's face as he said bluntly, indeed from the start you never believed in him. No. 2's expression shifted as he looked over, somewhat startled. How did you know? Some things don't need to be seen with eyes, of feeling them with the heart makes them clearer. No. 2 shrugged and admitted, I really don't have faith in him. No matter how hard I rack my brains, I can't see a glimmer of hope for victory in him. Think about it. With our excellent conditions and high starting points, we still lost. With such poor conditions, and being so ordinary, why on earth would he? No. 1 suddenly interrupted, raising his voice. Stop. You? Even though your world has been destroyed, you still haven't overcome your own nature. No matter how many excuses and reasons you come up with, you cannot change one fact. No. 2 noticed the change in No. 1's tone. Though he didn't know what was coming, he felt inexplicably guilty. What fact? No. 1. In your words, you have always regretted not saving the world. But deep in your heart, what you regret even more is that your ambition was shattered. You never had the chance to stand at the highest point of the world, in the most dazzling place, enjoying people's praise, recognition, and universal worship. From the moment I entered your dream, your ambition was stirring, though you concealed it well at the time. In truth, your actions and many subconscious gestures have betrayed your true thoughts. To you, the apocalypse is not a disaster, but an unprecedented once-in-a-millennium opportunity. An opportunity to gain wealth and fame, to be remembered in history, to achieve the pinnacle of life. Only when the world faces destruction can a savior be born. In times of peace, there are no war heroes. Therefore, on the surface, you were willing to sacrifice everything to save your world, but in essence, you planned to use the technology from my world to quietly fulfill your ambition. At the beginning, you knew little and had little exposure. You hadn't yet realized the severity of the apocalypse, so you were more receptive to advice and willing to act according to the plan I gave you. When you discovered that the techniques I provided might not be enough to counter the world's end, you couldn't help but seek other paths for yourself. You couldn't tolerate even the slightest chance of failure for your ambitions. You secretly told the nation about my existence, and at the same time reported all the important information I had shared with you truthfully. To make them believe your words, you presented the techniques I taught you, thus substantiating everything. On one hand, you wanted to use the nation's power to fight the apocalypse. On the other, you wanted to use your contributions to society to build a golden pedestal for yourself, enjoying unprecedented wealth and honor before the end. To take a step back, even if the apocalypse truly came, you wouldn't lose out. Of course, such an outcome was not what you desired. What you craved was to use the opportunity of the apocalypse to become the greatest figure in human history, immortalized through the ages. You thought well and acted well, but there was one thing you miscalculated. You overestimated your own ability and importance and underestimated the wisdom and humanity of others. Did you think that by publicly revealing my existence and showcasing your uniqueness, the nation would treat you like a precious treasure, fulfill all your demands, and center all actions around you? Did you think that those at the top, like in novels, would prioritize the greater good, be kind and tragic, and you could borrow their power for free under the banners of righteousness and morality? You have never climbed to the mountaintop. You don't know the view from there. All your understanding of the mountaintop scenery comes only from hearsay. Similarly, you have never held high office. You will never know their true thoughts and methods. What you know and believe is merely what they want you to know and believe. You are like a naive youth carrying a priceless treasure, turning yourself over to the nation under the banner of selflessness. You mouth words about serving the people and caring for humanity, claiming you want nothing and need nothing, but in truth you are deceiving yourself. Can those higher-ups who have crawled out of mountains of corpses and seas of blood, who have climbed step by step from the valley to the summit, not see through your tricks? Can they not discern your little schemes? They merely play along with your act to lull you into complacency. You have irreplaceable value to them, so they are willing to accommodate you to indulge you. But in essence, everything they do is aimed at stripping away your irreplaceability. For example, under the pretext of strengthening your body, they conduct various experiments to try to separate me, this parallel ghost, from you. Originally, according to the plan I set for you, you had a chance to defy fate and contend with the apocalypse. After all, your starting point and foundation were the highest and best among all. The time the world granted you was also long enough. Unfortunately, your arrogance ultimately buried everything. You thought everyone else was drunk while you alone were sober, but in reality, everyone else was sober while you alone were drunk. You are intoxicated in a self-righteous world, a world that ignores objective reality, a world that you desperately wish for, but has not yet come to pass. You kept saying that the Third World War was an uncontrollable factor, most likely caused by political catastrophe. Have you ever considered that the very factors triggering the political catastrophe might have their origins in the things you handed over to the nation? After all, what I taught you were the life crystallizations of the last surviving humans in my world who exhausted everything to preserve them. When those life crystallizations are placed in your world, they can break the world's balance. Without any contribution from you, I gave you those crystallizations freely with the intention of sparing you from the same tragedy as mine. But in the end, you still failed to understand this truth. What is learned from books is shallow. To truly know, you must practice it yourself. Things that come too easily are often not cherished or valued. Only when one exchanges them with blood and sweat does one understand their true worth. I have always known what you did, but in the previous worlds I didn't speak it out to embarrass you. Objectively, I am merely a parallel ghost who has lost everything. Even knowing your thoughts, I was powerless to. Subjectively, I didn't want to stop you either. Whether your motives were ambition or something else, I hoped you could save your world. This is my sincere wish as a parallel ghost. Those who have never experienced the destruction of a world can never understand the pain of a parallel ghost. Now you should understand, but everything is beyond return. The reason I chose to say this today is to make you face a fact: your world has already been destroyed. In world no. 8, you and I are in essence mere spectators. I don't want you, because of your own failure, to wish others would also fail, thereby finding some inexplicable sense of balance in existence. This, as I said before, is the humanity you have never overcome. No. 8 is very ordinary, very common, and started from a very low point, but he possesses qualities and spirits that none of you have. His eyes hold pure love, his character possesses fearless courage, the depths of his soul contain empathy for all living beings, and on the philosophical issues of life and death, he shows tenacious resilience for life. I once said to him, the world is so vast, humanity deserves a place. Why does humanity deserve a place? The root lies precisely in these qualities and spirits of his. If humanity lacked these qualities and spirits in him, I think perhaps it would be better if humanity disappeared. I still have some techniques to organize. They'll go down first. Number 1, who had intended to continue speaking, suddenly noticed that in the mirror number 2's eyes were already blurred with tears and instantly realized he had gone too far. Glancing at number 2, who was struggling to hold back emotions, he pretended not to notice. He quickly walked over to the electrolytic water rest pod, leaped in, and returned to his own world. Woo 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 wah. Wah AAA wah wah. Watching number 1 disappear, number 2 could no longer hold back. He completely let go, his cries shaking heaven and earth. Human, you're awake. How do you feel? Zhao Jiang had just opened his eyes when he found Senior Rat Dajo's furry face right in front of him. Small eyes, round ears, long whiskers. Zhao Jiang moved slightly and said with satisfaction, very good. The broken leg doesn't hurt anymore. We have already perfectly treated your bones and wounds. You just need to rest quietly for a while and take the nutrients we prepare for you. I guarantee you will recover completely. Senior Dajo, great kindness needs no words of thanks. In the future, if you need anything, just say the word. As long as I can do it, I won't hesitate. I can't walk now, or I would kowtow to you in gratitude. Senior Dajo, great kindness needs no words of thanks. In the future, if you need anything, just say the word. As long as I can do it, I won't hesitate. I can't walk now, or I would kowtow to you. And by the way, Senior Dajo, since I'm unable to move easily, please convey my thanks to the other rat comrades who treated me. They worked hard. If there's a chance, I will definitely repay them. You're too polite. I told you it was the prince's request. What does it have to do with them? You don't need to thank them. If they dare to complain about you, I'll whip them with my tail. Rat Dajo found Zhao Jiang's words very pleasant to hear, secretly thinking, as expected of someone from the cradle of culture. I won't forget Her Highness Grace, but you as the executors also have earned my gratitude. Public matters are public, private matters are private. Distinguish between public and private, clarify obligations, and don't muddle them together. Well said. Public is public, private is private. For that statement alone, I accept your request. They'll go out later and pass on your words to those little ones. Then I must thank you, Senior Dajo. No need to thank me. It's just a small effort. By the way, Senior Dajo, can you predict how long it will take for my leg to fully heal? 20 days. 20 days. Yes, barring any unforeseen circumstances, you will be able to run freely and completely recover in just 20 days. Zhao Jiang felt a surge of joy in his heart and gave a thumbs up. Senior Dajo, your medical technology is truly remarkable, far beyond my imagination. To be fortunate enough to experience such medical technology might mean I saved the galaxy in my past life. Upon hearing this, Dajo couldn't hold back any longer and bluntly said, Human, you can praise me, I like to hear it, but please don't exaggerate too much. If you really saved the galaxy, then it wouldn't be our third facility treating you, but rather the Royal Special Facility. Zhao Jiang touched his ear, turning his embarrassment into sincerity. Senior Dajo, I truly mean what I say. Without your treatment in my condition, what's the difference between living and dying? Human, if you really want to thank someone, then thank Princess Bai Zhaoyu. She went against the opinions of other princes and created a historical precedent for you. Before you are 3 facilities. No, it should be said the entire 9 facilities had never treated a human. Zhao Jiang nodded and said earnestly, I must thank Princess Bai Zhaoyu. Without her there would be no current me. It's a pity that in my current condition I cannot repay her in any way. Once I recover, I will definitely find a way. Dajo's eyes twinkled as he suddenly lowered his voice. Human, let's set aside the treatment for now. Oh, I have some questions about your kind that I'm quite curious about. Can you tell me? Zhao Jiang was slightly surprised, but showed no change on the surface. Please go ahead, Senior Dajo. I've heard that besides material culture, spiritual culture, and institutional culture, humans have another culture called entertainment. Is that true? Zhao Jiang was taken aback for a moment, somewhat confused, but then sensed something was off. After thinking for a moment, he replied, There is a culture called entertainment, but it should fall under spiritual culture. Dajo waved his paw and said seriously, No. If entertainment culture really exists, it must be if it belongs to spiritual culture, we wouldn't possibly be unaware of it. Zhao Jiang was quite astonished. Does your rat tribe not have an entertainment culture? No. Zhao Jiang didn't believe it. Really? Zhao Jiang was truly stunned and fell silent. Seeing this, Dajo became a bit anxious. Human, do you not believe me? Zhao Jiang glanced at him and honestly replied, It's not that I completely disbelieve, it just feels like you might be joking with me. Although I don't know much about your rat tribe and have only seen the tip of the iceberg, just based on this tip of the iceberg, it's enough to glimpse the power of your rat tribe. To be honest, from what I've seen, your medical equipment and treatment plans would undoubtedly be considered far ahead in human. If the medical field is this impressive, then the entertainment culture can't possibly be that far behind. Dajo said, Human, you haven't understood my words. I already said that our rat tribe has no entertainment culture. No, absolutely not. Zhao Jiang shook his head. That makes it even more unscientific. How could such a large tribe and one that has awakened intelligence possibly lack an entertainment culture? If that were true, life would be so dull. I can't even imagine how one would live without entertainment. Dezhou suddenly leaned and his eyes fixed on Zhao Jiang, questioning, "Do you think I'm lying to you?" Zhao Jiang, startled by the sudden change, quickly explained, No, Senior Dezhou, please don't misunderstand him, just analyzing objectively, and I mean no offense." Dezhou curled his tail around his right ear and drew a circle, then suddenly turned and left. "Human, wait for me, he'll be back soon." After a few minutes, Dezhou returned with something resembling a tablet, his paws moving rapidly, soon projecting a three-dimensional interface into the air. "Human, this is the network of our entire lower 9 cities. You can search for anything on it. If you don't believe me, you can check for yourself." Zhao Jiang took the tablet and found that all the text was in human language. Even the virtual keyboard was identical to a human one except for a black area depicting 21 mice, which he didn't understand what it was. "Senior Dezhou, why is your rat tribe's writing identical to ours?" Dezhou countered, "Did Princess not?" Zhao Jiang shook his head. "No, she's too busy. We hardly have time to chat, and the little time we have is spent on work. Sometimes even that doesn't get finished." Dezhou pondered for a moment and said, "No wonder a human like you can catch the attention of the princess. It turns out you're working with her. Are you the representative of humans? Or are we rats about to formally interact with your kind?" Zhao Jiang replied, "Senior Dezhou, these questions are a bit sensitive. I cannot answer them." Dezhou reacted, "This has to do with the princess instructions, right? I understand. I want to ask." Zhao Jiang said, "Let's talk about entertainment culture. This can be discussed." "Great. I'm happy to discuss this. I'm quite interested in it. By the way, to answer your earlier question, you're curious why our rat tribe's writing and even the keyboard are the same as yours. In fact, if you understand a bit more about rat culture, you'll realize that our culture is built on the foundation of your human culture." "Oh," Zhao Jiang exclaimed. "Human, don't be surprised. Don't you have a saying, standing on the shoulders of giants allows one to avoid 100 years of detours? Our rat tribe awakened later than you humans, and the world did not allow us enough time to develop our culture, so we had no choice but to rely on our old profession." "Old profession?" Zhao Jiang asked. "You don't know my tribe's old profession?" Zhao Jiang thought of an answer, but felt shy to say it, and continued to play dumb. "I really don't know." "Stealing. Isn't it stated in your human culture that rats represent thieves who love to steal things?" Zhao Jiang remained silent. Dezhou said, "You don't need to make that face. Don't worry, I won't mind. For you humans, stealing may be a bad act, but for us rats it's quite the opposite. Stealing is one of our rat tribe's talents, so it's considered honorable." "I see. So in your rat tribe, can anything be stolen?" "Of course not," Dezhou replied. "Some things cannot be stolen. If you do, you'll die. But what cannot be stolen is only a small part of most things. As long as you have enough talent and courage, if you can steal something, it is definitely something to be proud of. I won't speak for others, but my 9th and 16th wives were both acquired through stealing." Zhao Jiang's jaw nearly dropped. Shu Dazhou added, "One was originally my colleague's wife, the other was my neighbor's wife. Every time I take them out, I look great." Zhao Jiang. Shu Dazhou, by the way, human, do you like stealing other people's wives? Want me to teach you a few tricks? Zhao Jiang. Shu Dazhou, human, why aren't you talking? Zhao Jiang, ahem, Elder Dazhou, our species systems and cultures are different. In the human world, stealing someone else's wife is immoral and even illegal. If it's serious, you'll end up in prison. Shu Dazhou looked baffled, even a little angry. What kind of logic is that? A wife stolen through talent and courage. How is that immoral? What law is broken? Zhao Jiang felt for the first time an extremely obvious cross-species communication barrier. He wanted to explain, but didn't know where to start. You humans are strange. Stealing a wife is illegal, but stealing technology isn't. Hearing this, Zhao Jiang sensed another cultural divergence and said, "In your system, is stealing technology a serious crime?" Shu Dazhou, of course. It's a capital offense. Zhao Jiang, huh? Shu Dazhou, isn't stealing technology illegal among humans? Zhao Jiang, normally it is, but as long as you don't get caught, it's fine. And even if you're caught and sentenced, it's usually not the death penalty. A few days or years in prison, then you're out. Shu Dazhou was astonished. How can that be? If you're not caught, you don't get the death penalty. That's technology. Do you know what stealing technology means? Zhao Jiang, what does it mean? Shu Dazhou said gravely, "It means stealing life." Zhao Jiang, is it that serious? Shu Dazhou, even more serious than I'm saying. Zhao Jiang, in that case, the crime of stealing technology among your rat race is comparable to drug trafficking in my country, even surpassing it. Shu Dazhou, naturally. You don't know what a technology means to my rat citizens. Oh, we're getting off track again. Let's not talk about that now. Hurry up and search for yourself to see if I'm lying. Using the rat race's electronic device for the first time, Zhao Jiang felt somewhat nervous. He placed his 10 fingers wrapped in the transparent gel substance on the virtual keyboard, selected the 9-key input, and typed entertainment culture, then pressed enter. The next moment, the holographic interface with a bobbing cartoon rat head spewed out a series of results. The first headline read, "Human entertainment culture confirmed. We've all been deceived." Second, "Humans can entertain beyond survival and work while we have nothing." This is unfair. Third, who deliberately castrated our entertainment culture. Fourth, entertainment culture is a deliberate human hoax to corrupt our rat race's will. Fifth, entertainment culture doesn't exist at all. Sixth, all human sympathizers are rat traders. They'll soon become human lackeys. Seventh, we haven't even become Earth's overlords, yet we're thinking about entertainment. Wake up, my foolish rat compatriots. Zhao Jiang read through 2 or 3 dozen search results, and after finishing his mind felt completely overwhelmed. He believed Shu Dazhou hadn't lied to him, nor was there any need to. Then the question arose, why did the rat race have no entertainment culture? Was it deliberately caused by some force? Or had the rat race accidentally omitted it when replicating human culture? Human see, I wasn't lying, was I? Elder Dazhou, you haven't lied to me. But my mind is a bit jumbled now. I feel uncomfortable. Could you let me be alone for a while to calm down? Shu Dazhou snatched back his electronic device, his eyes darting around, and whispered, no problem, but remember, if any other rats come to see you, don't mention our chat, or that I let you use the projection tablet. Keep it secret. They'll come back later to find you, and we'll continue. Elder Dazhou, rest assured. My mouth is tight and not a blabber. About 2 hours later. Human, feeling better? Shu Dazhou swayed his slender tail and entered. Zhao Jiang. Thank you for your concern, Elder Dazhou. I'm much better. Shu Dazhou, can we continue talking now? Zhao Jiang, of course. Shu Dazhou, are you surprised that we rat race has no entertainment culture? Zhao Jiang nodded, very surprised. This is completely beyond my expectations. If you hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't have dared to imagine such a thing. Shu Dazhou, human, from your perspective, why do you think we have no entertainment culture? Zhao Jiang, I can only think of 2 possibilities. Shu Dazhou, go ahead. Zhao Jiang, first, you accidentally left it out when replicating our culture. Second, entertainment culture is unsuitable for your species, so it was deliberately blocked. Shu Dazhou, which possibility do you think is more likely? Zhao Jiang, do you want the truth or a lie? The truth, of course. Based on my analysis, I'd say it's almost certainly the latter. After all, entertainment culture is not a minor category. It's a vital part of spiritual culture, a lubricant in all human culture. Your rat race has perfectly replicated material culture, institutional culture, spiritual culture, writing, and symbols. It's impossible to have missed entertainment culture alone. Shu Dazhou, if the latter is true from your human perspective, do you think that's right? Zhao Jiang, I still know too little about your rat race's situation. There are many questions I can't answer even if I wanted to. Why is that? Zhao Jiang, cognition determines a person's height. When my cognition is insufficient, my thoughts, considerations, and answers will inevitably be one-sided, limited, and biased. I don't know your social structure, survival system, or other aspects. If I jump to conclusions based only on my own cognition, I'd most likely be wrong. Rather than giving a wrong answer, it's better to stay silent and not respond. What do you think? Shu Dazhou stroked his whiskers. Human, tell me in detail about your human entertainment culture. I really want to know what this thing is that those electric brats are so obsessed with. Zhao Jiang, electric brats. Shu Dazhou, those human sympathizers who hang around in the electronic network. Zhao Jiang, does human sympathizers mean they know humans very well? Shu Dazhou nodded yes. Compared to ordinary rats, they understand humans and human culture better. Entertainment culture was first spread by them on the internet. Besides that, many new things about humans are also spread by them. Zhao Jiang suddenly understood, so that's how it is. Shu Dazhou said, 2 years ago they were severely suppressed by the royal family and nearly vanished. For some reason in the past 2 years they have become active again, even more so than before. Zhao Jiang was very curious. What attitude do these human experts of yours hold toward us humans? Shu Dazhou, as far as I know, there are all kinds of attitudes. Some deeply admire you humans and want to curry favor with you, suggesting that the rat clan become a vassal race to you humans. Some want to establish diplomatic relations with you humans and be friends. There are even those who advocate defeating you humans with lightning speed, then corralling you, providing food, money, houses, vehicles, spouses, and so on for free. In short, 1,000 rats have 1,000 faces, each corresponding to a different proposition. Zhao Jiang's mouth formed an O shape, his expression shocked, and his mind astounded. Can that really be a thing? Shu Dazhou, human, why do you look like that? Zhao Jiang, Senior Dazhou, to be honest, I'm stunned by the human experts in your clan. They are incredibly thoughtful and talented. Shu Dazhou, oh, why do you say that? Zhao Jiang, Senior Dazhou, you may not be fully aware of the specifics of human society. If you were, you'd realize that some of those ideas are actually feasible. Now it was Shu Dazhou's turn to be puzzled. Which of their ideas is feasible? Zhao Jiang, for instance, the idea of defeating humans with lightning speed and then corralling them. Shu Dazhou instantly bristled, his tone serious. Impossible. That idea is the most absurd, absolutely impossible. You humans aren't stupid. Why would the ruling class willingly surrender their power as the rulers of Earth? Zhao Jiang smiled faintly and explained unhurriedly, Senior Dazhou, you don't understand. The ruling class is one thing and ordinary people are another. The ruling class may be unwilling, but that doesn't mean ordinary people feel the same way. Shu Dazhou, aren't the ruling class and ordinary people one and the same? Zhao Jiang, on the surface they are indeed one since both are humans. But when you look deeper that may not be the case. Shu Dazhou shook his head. I don't understand. Zhao Jiang, let me give you an example and you'll understand. Among humans some can't even afford a meal, living hand to mouth, always hungry, wandering everywhere, sleeping on the streets, under bridges, or in unfinished buildings. They have no house, no car, no savings. Not even a harbor for the soul. Meanwhile others feast on delicacies every day, own villas, luxury cars, yachts, and have savings that would last several lifetimes. They can have as many partners as they want in any shape they desire. Single doors, double doors, or triple doors. There's no shortage of variety. So he raised the question, if there were an opportunity to put both on an equal footing, each with only one house, one car, and a limited amount of savings, what do you think they would think? Shu Dazhou, the rich wouldn't want it, the poor would. Zhao Jiang, correct. The rich certainly wouldn't want it because for them it's not an opportunity, but a trap. For the poor, on the other hand, it would be their only chance to turn their lives around. Miss it, and it's gone forever. Therefore the rich would do everything to prevent it, while the poor would fight tooth and nail to seize it. This makes the matter clear. The ruling class is an aggregate of the rich, while ordinary people are an aggregate of the poor. Though both are human, the quality and richness of their lives are completely different. If you could defeat and rule over humans, giving them all the same standard of living, it would undoubtedly be a good thing for ordinary people. Shu Dazhou's tail stood straight up, his ears erect, the fur on his face trembling. He was silent for a long time before speaking. But we are two different species. Zhao Jiang, sometimes choice has nothing to do with species. When a person can't even afford to eat, and may not even see tomorrow's sun, living from hand to mouth, do you think he would still care about such things? The whiskers around Shu Dazhou's mouth twitched, as if he wanted to say something, but then he swallowed it back. Zhao Jiang continued, whether human or rat, none of us can escape Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Shu Dazhou, what? What here? Hierarchy of needs. Zhao Jiang, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow is a human name. He summarized this theory based on the needs of living beings. According to this theory, the needs of all living beings are divided into 5 levels, from low to high: physiological safety, social esteem, and self-actualization. Only after the lowest level needs are satisfied can a being think about or pursue higher level ones. Shu Dazhou, this Maslow is quite remarkable. Zhao Jiang, the difference in species is not a physiological need at the bottom level, it belongs to something. When a being cannot even meet its survival needs, everything else becomes superfluous and meaningless. And in our human society, even today, there are still many people stuck at this need level. For them, it doesn't matter who rules them. What matters is who can fill their stomachs, give them a good life, and let them enjoy life. It doesn't even have to be your rat clan. If there were ghosts in this world, they wouldn't mind being ruled by a ghost clan. Shu Dazhou. Zhao Jiang, Senior Dazhou, now do you understand why I said their ideas are feasible? Shu Dazhou nodded, full of admiration. No wonder humans are the rulers of Earth. Their level of awareness is truly remarkable. Zhao Jiang waved his hand. Not all humans have this awareness. To blow my own trumpet, I'm among the few. Understanding these truths is related to a person's cognition, and cognition is related to education. I'm not boasting, but I happen to have received a full 9-year compulsory education. Shu Dazhou, let's set aside other humans for now. If it were you, would you be willing to be ruled by us? Zhao Jiang, if you provide food, shelter, housing, a car, and a partner, and don't overly restrict freedom, well, I wouldn't necessarily accept it right away, but at least I wouldn't oppose it. And if you dangle some carrots, acceptance would probably come in time. Shu Dazhou, wouldn't you care what other species say? Zhao Jiang countered, why should I care? Shu Dazhou, you humans are currently recognized as the rulers of Earth. If one day you fall from grace and are ruled by us, other intelligent species might mock you, saying you have no backbone, no wolf-like spirit. Could you endure such insults to your dignity? Zhao Jiang, if we are truly ruled, what's the use of enduring? When faced with an irreversible tide, do backbone, wolf spirit, and the like taste better than egg yolk pie? Shu Dazhou, egg yolk pie. What egg yolk pie? Seeing the confusion on the other person's face, Zhao Jiang quickly explained, sorry, I accidentally used a meme from the human internet. What is a meme? Zhao Jiang. Shu Dazhou, it's fine, you don't need to rush. Just explain it to me slowly. Oh, I'm quite interested in these things. Zhao Jiang gently inhaled, adjusting his mindset. A meme refers to a punchline, a foreshadowing, a collective term for particularly pointed meanings, satire, and connotations. Shu Dazhou stared directly at Zhao Jiang. Human, I don't understand. Zhao Jiang, for example, the electric cub you mentioned earlier is actually a meme. Shu Dazhou raised his paw and began scratching his head, taking a while before speaking. Can you say it in a simple? Hearing this, Zhao Jiang pursed his lips, and as he did so, inspiration struck him. Senior Dazhou, you can think of a meme as a specific term or idiom, but behind that term or idiom lies a specific story or punchline. During our communication, we cannot say everything completely. For convenience and brevity, we specifically use a meme to replace the underlying story. Shu Dajo's ears instantly perked up, a light flashing in his pupils as he suddenly realized, I seem to Zhao Jiang wiped the sweat from his brow in his mind, thinking that if you still don't understand, I wouldn't know how to explain it. After studying for so many years, it's not easy to have gained a bit of knowledge, and I've already used up half of it. Has anyone ever used ink? Zhao Jiang, Senior Dajo. Back to the main topic. What I just said was mainly to express that life is the foundation of everything. Once that foundation disappears, whether it's the wolfishness or the backbone, it's merely a castle in the air, a rootless duckweed devoid of meaning. If your tribe's strength has far surpassed that of humans, then no matter how humans resist, the outcome is predetermined. In such a scenario, if you choose to treat humans kindly rather than exterminating them, do you think humans would resist recklessly? Shu Dajo, I see, human, you have a keen insight into these matters. Oh, there's nothing I can do. If you had experienced the internal strife of human society, you would understand. Pragmatism is more important than anything else. After all, the rules of this world, our material foundation determines the superstructure. Shu Dajo was quite chatty and was very curious about many things regarding humans. He stayed by Zhao Jiang's side, draining Zhao Jiang's verbal resources time and again until Zhao Jiang was so exhausted that he fell asleep on the spot, and only then did he leave satisfied. During this process, the human and the mouse discussed entertainment, culture, racial differences, social structures, worldviews, values, as well as perspectives on life, spiritual beliefs, and life directions. Eventually, they even got into philosophy, draining Zhao Jiang of the last bit of knowledge he had. Zhao Jiang was not considered a talkative person in human society, but now he felt as if he were a salesperson speaking freely, and when the conversation reached its peak, his mouth seemed to possess its own independent thoughts, completely disregarding the commands of his brain. This mouth was about to break through the barrier of reality. Everything has its duality, although his throat was dry from talking, the gains were tremendous. Through the exchange, Zhao Jiang learned a lot about the mouse tribe. Although his worldview was overturned many times during this process, he found it fulfilling and interesting. After disconnecting from reality upon falling asleep, Zhao Jiang embarked on a path of learning in his dreams, following the giant known as one, constantly devouring those technological crystallizations. He was well aware of his mediocrity and weakness, so he studied extremely diligently, promptly raising questions whenever he didn't understand, never pretending to know what he did not. Time in the dream also passed quickly, and Zhao Jiang felt that he hadn't learned much before he was forced to awaken from reality. Like yesterday, as soon as he awoke, a furry face appeared before him. You? Who are you? Although Zhao Jiang wasn't very good at distinguishing mouse faces, he could still judge whether they were the same mouse by their clothing and the scent on their fur. It's a pity that the virtual helmet given by the princess was lost, otherwise he would have been able to identify them instantly through that helmet. Hello human, my name is Zhao Xing. You can call me by my name or Zhao the mouse. Zhao Jiang was meeting a mouse that asked for his name for the first time, and the first impression was instantly in hand. Hello Zhao Xing. My name is Zhao Jiang, and I come from human society. It's nice to meet you. I prepared a small gift for you since this visit was sudden. Please accept it. Shu Zhaoxing suddenly took out an exquisite blue box and handed it to Zhao Jiang. I appreciate your kindness, but I cannot accept the gift without having given one in return, especially since it's our Shu Zhaoxing's actions left Zhao Jiang momentarily stunned. This was completely unexpected. Mouse behavior. Don't you humans prepare gifts when visiting friends? If you don't accept it, it means you don't regard me as a friend. Zhao Jiang's heart suddenly skipped a beat. His intuition told him that the newcomer might not have good intention. With his brain working quickly, he soon formulated his response. In our human culture, giving gifts is reciprocal. I haven't prepared anything right now, and if I take your gift without being able to reciprocate in time, that would simply be taking advantage of you. True friends would not take advantage of each other. Shu Zhaoxing suddenly laughed, his whiskers raised, revealing a unique aura. Oh, I see, that makes sense. How about this? You first accept my gift, and if there's a chance in the future you can give me a gift in return. How does that sound? Zhao Jiang did not expect the other party to be able to turn this around. Realizing that this gift was something he had to accept, he stopped being polite and said with a smile, in that case, I will respectfully accept this gift. The enemies of Princess Zhao Yu or her powerful competitors in certain fields. Congratulations. You answered incorrectly. There will be a punishment for the wrong answer. I hope you don't mind. Suddenly Shu Zhaoxing extended his claws and grasped Zhao Jiang's neck, making it hard for him to breathe. Madman. A madman from the Mouse clan. Zhao Jiang's face turned red, clearly distressed. Haha, I thought the human overlords were so formidable. Turns out they can also feel fear and terror. TSK, tisk, the expression on your face, to put it in your human words, is indeed ugly. Cough, cough, cough. Zhao Jiang, unable to breathe, began to turn red-faced, veins bulging. Seeing this, the opponent slightly relaxed his grip, allowing him to cough uncontrollably, producing a pathetic sound. Human, Shu Zhaoxing suddenly leaned in, his whiskers brushing against Zhao Jiang's face, his mouse-like eyes serious and fierce. Answer me one question. Zhao Jiang wanted to pat the opponent's hand, signaling him to loosen his grip, or else he wouldn't be able to speak. But that thought was quickly dismissed. Given the current situation, it was clear that the opponent was not friendly and a bit insane, but the killing intent did not seem very apparent. In such circumstances, the best strategy was to remain unchanged, doing nothing. After all, without understanding the opponent, one could not confirm whether a small hint or gesture would provoke a defensive or angry reaction. In this world, which species is the noblest? Upon finishing this question, Shu Zhaoxing loosened his grip on Zhao Jiang, allowing him to breathe again. Huff, huff, huff. Zhao Jiang first gasped violently, and only after his breathing calmed down did he raise his head and meet the opponent's eye, saying assertively, "In my view, there is no species that is the noblest. Everything is relative. If there is a noblest, there must be something even nobler." As soon as he finished speaking, Shu Zhaoxing launched another swift attack, grabbing Zhao Jiang's neck again, but the strength was much weaker, allowing him to speak normally despite the discomfort. "No, you must name one that is the noblest." Zhao Jiang, unsure of what the opponent really meant, did not answer. After several breaths, Zhao Jiang replied firmly, "If you wish to hear a falsehood, there are certainly answers. But if you want to hear the truth, even if you kill me, my answer will be, there is no noblest, only those who are nobler." Shu Zhaoxing squinted his eyes, slightly somewhat surprised that this was not what he had expected. "Why didn't you say it was humanity?" Zhao Jiang countered. "Why should I say humanity? What makes humanity the noblest?" Shu Zhaoxing suddenly increased his grip strength. "Humans are the overlords of Earth, the rulers of the entire planet. Isn't that enough?" Zhao Jiang replied, "Humans are merely the current overlords of Earth. If we choose humanity for that reason, then what about the previous overlords of humanity?" Shu Zhaoxing's gaze sharpened. "Were there previous overlords of Earth before humanity? How come I didn't know? You're not trying to deceive me, are you? I warn you, if you can't give a satisfactory explanation, I will make your legs disappear forever." Zhao Jiang glanced deeply at the opponent, trying to maintain calm. The Earth was born approximately 4.5 billion years ago, while humanity has only existed for about 7 million years, at most. There is no need for me to elaborate on the time gap between 7 million years and 4.5 billion years, right? Upon hearing this, Shu Zhaoxing lessened his grip, a hint of interest appearing in his eyes, though his expression remained grim. Zhao Jiang continued, "Throughout that long interval, Earth has actually had many overlords, each of whom governed the planet far longer than the history of humanity. From this perspective, humanity is the weakest overlord in Earth's history. Let's not mention the far-off overlords, instead consider the life explosion that occurred 500 million years ago. Between 542 million years and 485 million years ago, a period known to us humans as the Cambrian, the overlord of Earth was called the Anomalocarid, a heavily armored life form. Anomalocarid. After the Cambrian extinction, we entered the Ordovician period, where the overlord was called the Graptolite, a shelled life form. Graptolite following that were the Eurypterids of the Silurian, the Dunkleosteus of the Devonian, insects of the Carboniferous, the Labyrinthodonts of the Permian, and the dinosaurs of the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods, culminating in the rise of mammals in the Cenozoic era. Eurypterid, Dunkleosteus, ancient insects, Labyrinthodonts, Dinosaur 1. 0 Dinosaur 2. 0 Dinosaur 3. 0 Both we humans and you mouse clan are essentially continuations of this Cenozoic era of mammals." Shu Zhaoxing said, "Human, you're not deceiving me, are you?" Zhao Jiang replied, "Why would I deceive you? This knowledge is public. If you don't believe it, you can check it on the human internet yourself." Shu Zhaoxing pondered. "Are you saying that humanity is just a temporary overlord of Earth and not its eternal overlord?" Zhao Jiang replied, "Who told you that humanity has always been the overlord of Earth? Even if you dream, you should have some common sense, right?" Seeing Zhao Jiang speak like this, Shu Zhaoxing felt a bit more comfortable. "Very well, human. You have opened a door to a new world for me today, though I have decided to let you go for now." Zhao Jiang was somewhat curious. "Does your mouse clan have no historical culture regarding Earth?" Shu Zhaoxing shook his head. "No. Since we began recording history, all our research has been about humanity. We have neither the energy nor the time to learn about anything beyond humans. It seems that in your subconscious, we humans are the default primary imagined enemy. Of course you are the overlord of Earth. If we don't consider you an imagined enemy, then who should we? By the way, human, tell me, do you think there's a chance for our mouse clan to replace you humans?" "Yes. Survival of the fittest. As long as you are stronger than humans, replacing them is just a matter of time. Similarly, if you replace humanity, and then a stronger species emerges, then your mouse clan, you too, will." Shu Zhaoxing asked, "As a human, why can't I sense that strong spirit of racism and dominance in you? Instead, I feel that the position of overlord is somewhat optional. It seems that whoever sits there is the same Zhao Jiang pondered for a moment before replying. Perhaps compared to your mouse clan, we humans seem more like old men nearing the end of their years, viewing things with greater clarity and indifference. You are full of vitality and energy, placing greater emphasis on stance and right or wrong, charging forward recklessly, eager to prove yourselves without considering too much. Xu Zhaoxing said seriously, "You are different from the humans I know." Zhao Jiang replied, "Before me, have you ever seen other humans?" Xu Zhaoxing answered, "Of course." Zhao Jiang asked, "Have you talked to them?" Xu Zhaoxing countered, "What do you?" Zhao Jiang replied, "You must have, right?" Xu Zhaoxing said, "Of course. But compared to you, they were filled with fear. They couldn't even complete a sentence, only begging for mercy, worse than our Mouse Clan slaves." Zhao Jiang initially wanted to ask what happened to those people later, but quickly abandoned that thought, and instead said, "Perhaps this is the gap between imagination and reality. In fact, my imagination of you is also different from the reality. I pictured you to be quite primitive, perhaps with wisdom, but unable to form a civilization. However, the reality is quite the opposite. When imagination collides with reality, mentality determines performance." Xu Zhaoxing asked, "If you were given the chance to return to the human world, would you reveal the true state of our Mouse Clan?" Zhao Jiang replied, "No." "Why not?" Zhao Jiang said, "There's no need. Human, you're lying. You don't need to probe me or test my stance. Whether you ask me this question or not, I will do it." Xu Zhaoxing's eyes flickered with deep confusion. "Why?" Zhao Jiang said, "First, you must understand one thing: humanity is not a unified whole. Second, in human society, I am merely an ordinary person, someone whose death wouldn't even cause a ripple. Thus my words carry no weight. If I were to reveal the truth about your kind, not only would others refuse to believe me, but they would think him spouting nonsense or boasting and conclude that I'm mentally unstable." "Why wouldn't they believe you?" Zhao Jiang retorted, "Why should they? I am the one who experienced all this, not them. Things not witnessed with one's own eyes or heard with one's own ears naturally invite skepticism. Besides, the reality of your race far exceeds the cognition of ordinary humans, so it's only logical that they wouldn't believe it. Even if they were to believe, I would at least need to present evidence. Then the question arises, where would I obtain such evidence? Even if by some remote possibility I did obtain evidence and made it public, the scenario you imagine would never unfold. Chances are the evidence would be confiscated, the relevant content blocked, and I myself would be locked away in some nameless place, never to see the light of day again, as good as dead. Do you humans care so little about us? That's not what I've been told. This isn't about caring or not. Let me put it this way: you may understand humans, but you don't understand the human heart. Even if you understand the human heart, it's hard to grasp interests. And if by sheer chance you do grasp interests, it's exceedingly difficult to comprehend the distribution of those interests. If I ever return to the human world and disclose your existence along with certain information about you, it would appear on the surface to be a warning to humanity, a contribution. In reality, it would trample upon the interests of powerful organizations. For someone as ordinary and insignificant as me, crossing their interests is no different from courting death. Human, I admit what you've said makes some sense, but I still don't trust you. If you ever return to human society, you will undoubtedly expose the truth about my race, bringing immense trouble upon us. To avoid that trouble, the best way is to kill you. I don't care. I can't fight back anyway, so saying anything is meaningless. But for now, I still hold some irreplaceable value to Her Highness the Princess. If you can get her consent to kill me, I have nothing to say. Or if you can disregard her and slay me directly, you'll accept it. After all, what can I do now except resign myself?" Xu Zhaoxing leaned in again, whispering into Zhao Jiang's ear. "Are you so certain she will protect you?" Zhao Jiang replied, "My life is unimportant, but some things I know are crucial to you, to her, and even to your entire race. It doesn't matter if I die, one life, that's all. But if the knowledge I carry is taken to another world, you might one day regret it bitterly. That day could very well be the day your entire race is annihilated. Don't try to scare me with such alarmist talk. Who knows whether you're telling the truth? Believe it, and it's true, or doubt it, and it's false. As it happens, Princess, by Zhao, you believes me." Xu Zhaoxing's tone turned serious. "Human, what exactly do you know?" Zhao Jiang chuckled lightly. "Huh? Do you think I would tell a rat who wants my life?" With that, their eyes locked, staring at each other for several dozen seconds, neither willing to yield. "Human, I admit you've surprised me. You are clearly terrified of death, yet you possess such resilience. I've never met a human like you. Fine, you've aroused my interest. I'll wait for you to leave this place. When we meet again, I'll show you my true power. Oh, by the way, I don't necessarily have to kill you. If you're willing to become my slave and serve me, I might consider sparing your life." With that, he flashed a characteristic sinister grin of the rat race and turned away. Zhao Jiang said nothing, silently watching him leave his mind a whirlwind of thoughts. The next day, just after Zhao Jiang had finished the nutrient solution for his injuries prepared by Xu Dazhou and the others, a familiar figure walked in. "Human, my ninth brother came to see you." "Your ninth brother?" "By Zhao Xing. Yes, he came yesterday." "What did he want?" "He gave me a rat dropping and asked me some questions." "Did he hurt you?" "No." You're lying. He just squeezed my neck and said some trash talk. Nothing that counts as real harm. How long until your leg heals? According to Senior Dajo's estimate, about 18 more days. If I give you a chance to return to the human world, would you want to fight for it? Upon hearing this, Zhao Jiang shook his head violently. No, not at all. I'm serious, not joking. Zhao Jiang said, I mean it too. I really don't want to go back to the human world. You're still that afraid of death. You are a princess, but aren't you afraid of death? I'm not afraid of death. If I were afraid, I wouldn't have. I remember when we first met you said something. You said that death can be as weighty as Mount Tai or as light as a feather. I found that very insightful. If I am to die, it must be a death weightier than Mount Tai. So before I die, the things I do must be great. What does that have to do with what you just said? The rat princess walked up to him, placed a helmet on Zhao Jiang's head, and said coldly, I need your help with something. If you help me, I will ensure you return to the human world safe and sound. Zhao Jiang glanced at her virtual avatar and sneered. Huh? Safe and sound back to the human world. I'd probably have breathed my last long before that. The rat princess said, You've already done this twice. Theoretically, there is no risk for you. Zhao Jiang replied, Impossible. If you just wanted to put me back into the flower of that strange tree, you wouldn't need to ask for my opinion or offer such a tempting condition. You must have other demands. The rat princess said, Nothing escapes you, does it? Some things cannot be said here, but I hope you'll consider it carefully. This opportunity comes only once, miss it, and it's gone. Zhao Jiang's attitude was resolute. Go ahead and kill me if you dare, but I will never throw my life away for nothing. Don't be so absolute. You humans often say that great fortune comes with great risk. What if you succeed and walk away unscathed? Don't bother brainwashing me and painting me a rosy picture. I've had more than enough of that in human society. If you want me to work overtime, you pay overtime wages. If you want me to run, you give me grass to eat. So if you insist on sending me to my death, it's not impossible. Just give me a motivation that transcends life and death. They'll go right now without hesitation.